So, last game we kind of left off with one of the group, the coterie members, in a bit of a sticky situation, being held against their will by what looked to be a bunch of humans, not werewolves, not vampires, but everyday humans. One of the humans being the chief inspector, and seems to be in on it. And it looked to be that they were draining him and using his vitae to perhaps turn themselves into vampires, as well as the rest of the group coming across a strange ex-anarch and also probably Nazi um, vampire kindred, someone from the same clan as our Jessica. But after some incredible mind games coming from Todd, you were able to gain access to where he was staying and overpower him. The final incredible hit coming from Nathaniel, as he, for the first time, showed he's definitely no pushover, and in a single hit was almost able to decapitate this vampire. And we now pick up with you guys kind of fleeing the dawn and returning. In fact, did you return to the inn, or did you stay at the vampires where the vampire was staying? I can't remember.
We went back to the inn.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were told to meet Brandon.
Yep. So we will pick up the following day. So could I have everyone make a rouse check?
Even
Actually,
this
no.
fake guy.
Actually, no. We will pick up, just because I want to know what you do, we will pick up as you just arrive in the inn itself. The four of you. So, you guys enter the inn and you see the old lady looking a little bit better now she's had some medicine, and kind of just watching her programs. Looks like Coronation Street, a classic English soap opera. And what do you guys do?
Assuming that Brandon is probably in the room,
Mm-hmm.
head up to the room.
Okay.
And then finding he's not in the room, gonna panic and look in the other two rooms.
He is nowhere to be seen.
Wow, why am I not surprised? Another letdown. We should probably try to call him and tell him to get his little buns back into the inn before day breaks.
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't gotten the phones yet. We ordered the phones tonight.
You did?
Yeah, that's kind of an issue because Jessica, I think you and I are the only ones who have phones that work here. And he walked off without taking one of them.
Why did he take off on his own without any means to get in contact with us?
Fuck.
Call me what you will. At least I'm not that dumb. Where was he going? What time is it?
He was going to investigate the crime scene. We don't have time to do very much, though.
Right now, it will be around 4:30 in the morning. The sun is maybe 30 to 40 minutes from rising.
How far away is the crime scene from where we're at, if we can ask? Or, no, I don't want to ask right now.
No, I wouldn't want to ask. Do we know which crime scene he's checking out in particular?
The vampire that you were with, he did give you the address that you all heard, and Brandon went to that address on his own. So you do know where he went.
Well, we know an address where he went, but we know fuck all about this town, so we don't know how far it is.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna go.
He gave y'all directions. That's how I got there.
Oh, true, but we don't know how far away it is from the inn. I'm gonna go down and ask the Actually, I don't know. Yeah. Actually, Todd, you're better at talking to people. Why don't you go downstairs and ask your little old friend down there?
Yeah, maybe he checked in with her and he just left a message. That's sensible.
Mhm.
Yeah, just gonna go down and ask the lady.
Okay.
Hey, you remember my friend? He didn't happen to check in or walk in recently?
No, I don't believe he did.
Oh, okay. Must have been a miscommunication. Hey, do me a favor. If he does check in or anything like that, would you just ring the room
All right, dear.
and I'll
And
put a
she'll
I'll s-
Mhm.
I'll hand her a 5 quid note.
she'll take it with a bit of a smile, and she'll take out a little notepad and make a note, and then kind of stick it to her computer screen.
Thanks. Hey, you heard any news about that? Those murders?
Mm. Well,
Just a lot of rumor, gossip around town, you know?
mm, just that they keep happening. A few of the people are, well, it's complete nonsense, but a few of the people are blaming one of the foreign families that have recently moved here. Poor dears. They've got nothing to do with this.
Foreign families. Like what, Pakistanis or...
No, I believe they're Polish, I believe.
Ah, Poles. Got it. But you're saying they wouldn't have anything to do with this, right? They're probably just here for jobs or something.
I believe so. I've met them, and they seem very nice, and the children are very nice. But people around here, they just want to blame anything that's new.
Hey, you didn't happen to know anybody that got killed, did you? Just, I guess I have like a, what is the word? Like a macabre curiosity.
It's a very small town, darling. We kind of all know each other in some ways. None of them I was close with. But still, I did, I did know them all.
Hey, I heard somebody talking about this girl, Beth. Do you happen to know her? Because I heard she was one of the ones that,
Oh, yes. She used to help me with the shopping. She worked at the supermarket, and very very bright girl, very bright. Yeah, she worked there, and she would help me pack everything up.
Yeah, and she was dating this guy, Eric, right?
Eric,
Did you know Eric? I heard of him. He sounds like he was a piece of work.
Eric, the, the doctor. You mean the new group that? Are you talking about them?
I think so. And I don't know the town really all that well, but yeah, I heard there was also someone else named named Ellie who might have been hanging around with them.
Hmm.
A shopkeeper.
I'm not
Ring
sure.
any bells? All right. Well, it's fine. Hey, yeah, if Brandon comes back, yeah, let me know, my friend.
She looks kind of confused, and you can definitely see that the age is playing tricks on her mind. And she'll actually kind of, when you say Ellie and Eric, and you say all these names, she will kind of flinch almost small part and say, "Oh, oh yes, Ellie was the one working at the store, and Bev, she was with the other one, the Eric, and they were the new ones in town, the team, the ones from London, the the ones that were here to dig. I think that was it. Uh,
Dig? What, for like Gaelic relics or something?
oh, I don't know, darling. But the town was very excited about it, but it quickly left everyone's minds. But yeah, something about a dig.
Hey, would you happen to know where this dig is?
I don't. I didn't really concern myself.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks. Thanks for all your help.
All right. Just call if you need anything.
And go back up to the room.
Okay.
Fuck. So I'd sent a text message to Jessica asking if she wanted to check the pub before the sun comes up.
And I replied that I was going to do just that, and I'm taking a friend.
You wanna check the pub now?
Just to see if Brandon's there. And
Okay.
if we don't see him, we're running back.
Okay. Are you going alone?
No. Absolutely not. I'm gonna take my little Kata friend with me.
Okay, you're taking D.
Taking D with me if he would like to come.
But of course.
D and I had a moment. We're besties now.
Yes. It would last to the end of time.
Or until one of us gets dusted.
Wow. So you two make your way down and a few doors down to look into the pub windows. Make me, both of you, can you please make me a wits awareness?
Hey.
Okay. You look down, look into the pub windows, and you, maybe for about a minute, you look around and you see kind of a few human faces that you're familiar with, but no Brandon. He's not there.
Right.
Much I'd hate to say this, we don't have time.
Yeah, we gotta go. I'm gonna grab his wrist and with my little celerity ass, we're gonna book it down the we're gonna book it back to the
Oh yes.
Hold for 1 second. Just need to check something. Okay, so you're heading back, right?
Yeah, we are running back.
Could
Yes.
you please make me one more perception check?
What's an awareness you mean?
Oh, yes. God damn it. Get out, D&D. It's not your time.
Ooh.
Nah.
As a 2 and a 3. Okay. So.
2 and a 5.
Oh, yeah, 2 and a 5. Jesus. So, You notice one thing, Jessica, and it's not what you see, it's what you hear. In the vast, vast distance, you hear the same type of noise that you heard when you first arrived here. But you, D, you notice something very strange. You notice a man and a woman down the street, and just looking at them, they are not normal people. They are dressed in kind of leathers and kind of beat up jeans and work boots. And they seem to be smelling at the air. And they look pissed off, angry, almost like the same type of anger that Jessica or that other vampire that was killed this night, the same type of anger that he had. And they're just smelling at the air. And a few seconds later, you watch them kind of go around a corner towards the police station. And that's all.
How much time do we have before we go on?
You've got until sunrise, maybe 20, 25 minutes.
Damn, I really want to follow them.
No, we don't have the time.
Well, for now, I'll book it with her. Did they notice me, or did I just get
They
a
did
glimpse
not.
of them?
You got a glimpse of them since you rolled immensely, and that's all you saw. They didn't.
Right, but did they
notice
see
you.
me?
No, they did not notice you.
All right, that's good. I'm going to burn their appearance in my mind so I don't forget.
Okay.
And we running.
Okay. You make it back inside the inn very quickly, and I'm guessing you head straight up into the rooms.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Okay. Then the rest of you see them kind of burst into the room.
I'm hopping in my coffin I came in.
And
Mhm.
I'm running into the bathroom.
Okay.
I think we
Yes.
should probably all stay in the same room tonight.
That's what I figured, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because what did it hold into the main room? My casket?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Tell Zindy that she needs to keep an eye out. Did you guys mention what you saw?
No, it's
I-
kind of fast. Sorry.
Yeah. Not sure how much time we had. If we do have like a little bit of time, I would have mentioned what I'll. We didn't find him. I heard werewolves again.
And when I was running past, I saw what appeared to be a couple. They were not human, and they were sniffing at the air. And before I could really do anything, they were running towards the police office.
All right, I'm gonna tell Zindy that she needs to wake us up if she hears sniffing sounds outside.
Okay. When you tell her this, she looks a little bit concerned, but she's ready. And you do see that now she is kind of carrying with her at all times what looks to be like a flip knife.
And if you need food, don't order. Don't go pick it up. Like, try to get somebody to deliver it. That lady downstairs, she's kind of nice. She may know somebody.
Got it. She just holds the knife even tighter.
We're gonna try and figure out what's going on tomorrow, but we can't do anything else during the day. And I don't want something to happen to you.
Well, I don't want something to happen to you. And this is getting... She kind of looks around. A little bit fucked up.
You think?
She chuckles at that.
Yeah. Just watch the tele. And keep an ear out. Maybe check outside every once in a while. No, I don't know. You wouldn't be able to look out the windows without possible danger.
Great.
Just,
Possible danger.
you know.
Loving it. Whew, okay. And then you go back to your room?
Yeah. Well, we're all gonna pile
Yeah.
into the same room.
Get all snug.
But yeah, I'm gonna be in like the closet. I imagine a couple people can double up in the bathroom or something.
Mm-hmm. In that
I've been there
case-
before.
In that case, everyone, please make a rouse check. As you kind of go into that abyss that you call sleep, and eventually wake in the next night. Oh no, these are some bad rolls.
Question: do I need to make a rouse check while I'm staked?
I'll come to you soon. Don't worry. But
Oh,
the answer, no, you don't need to make a rouse check. Okay. So, the rest of you wake up. What do you want to do?
I gotta feed.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
I'm still in my casket.
Yeah, no, Nate and Jess ain't looking too hot right now.
In that case, the ones who want to feed, would you like to make a hunter's roll?
Yeah, I'll make a hunter's roll. Make this quick. Don't want to drag this out.
Yeah. I'll do it as well.
We have to roll the predator type, right?
Yep.
Get that? Do I get to add my looks merit to mine?
What is your predator type?
Siren. So it's charisma and
Yeah.
subterfuge.
Yeah.
Would I add my studying to that as well, or
What is your predator type?
I am a nothing?
A nothing. Wow.
Do you mean
Let's
like
have a
my
look.
vampire type? I'm sorry.
No, your predator type. Let me have a look. You are the scene queen.
I'm gonna willpower that. Holy
Ooh,
God.
you're not eating tonight.
No.
No. Hold on. Repower.
And yeah, you can add that.
Alright.
Would
Sure.
I get to add it with the manipulation subterfuge?
Yes, you would. It's a thingy, a social. Okay, wow, 5. Nathaniel coming in with the big numbers now.
Yeah, and I got 3.
A 3, a 5. Waiting for D. A 0. Would you like to willpower those 3 dice?
Sure. I didn't
Since I'm
add
not
my.
hunting, would I be able to help any of them?
If you wanted to go with them and help, otherwise, if you want to feed on your own, I'll say no. But if you're not concerned about feeding and just want to help, then you could.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about feeding right now. I just want to help them.
Also, D, you are at 1 hunger.
Right.
And the only way to go down even further than that is for you to actually kill someone. Keep that in mind.
All right, then I guess I'll use my will.
So you want to go out and feed?
Yes.
Okay, then willpower. Under willpower, it should say willpower reroll. Get that, and put it should already have a 3 in there. Just click OK. One success. Okay. So, Nathaniel, Jessica, you both do find targets that you can feed off of and of your type. But you are both at 4 hunger, which
Mhm.
means as soon as you bite in, you both need to make frenzy checks.
Difficulty?
Difficulty is 3. Nope. Success. Okay. So, Jessica, you manage to keep control of yourself as you are feeding. However, Nathaniel, you lose it. And as you find this kind of maybe middle 20 black man, kind of dressed quite smartly, and as you kind of creep up behind him and talk with him, and he actually knows some of your work as he is a well-traveled man. You begin to feed on him, and the beast kind of overtakes you. And you can't help but take as much as possible. So, you will go down to 1, and you have the choice now as you kind of begin to gain control over the beast once you get to 1. Would you like to continue?
No.
Okay. As you let go, the man falls to the ground and is unconscious and looks to be in somewhat medical distress. But what do you do?
Who did Todd go with to help?
That's up to Todd.
Todd.
Help me.
Can I check to see how much this, how bad this person is?
This person will most likely, in fact, make me a intelligence medicine.
Two.
Okay, 2. I mean, you're no doctor, but you can clearly see that this person has lost a lot of blood. And if he doesn't get help, there's probably a good chance he will not survive the night.
Does this person have a phone on them?
They do.
Okay. Pick up the phone, dial emergency services.
Okay. Over the phone, you hear a woman's voice come over and just say, 911, what's the emergency?
Yeah, I found this guy. He seems like he's in a real bad situation. I look at the streets nearby
Mm-hmm.
and just give the address.
Okay. She says
Try to
okay,
disguise my voice and make it sound like an English accent.
oh, please go ahead. Please do that. All right, governor. But as you kind of describe the street, the woman on the phone will say, and what's your name, sir?
At that point, I just drop the phone, and Nathaniel and I are gonna walk away.
And you do.
Doing our best
Thank
to avoid
you.
any CCTV.
I will thank you again for helping me with, well, the same thing that happened a few days ago.
This is why we don't hunt alone.
Where would you So I'm guessing that after you would have fed, you all would have gathered somewhere. Is that right?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just say back outside the inn. Unless any of you want to do something solo.
Somewhere. I would just say that we'd want to go somewhere maybe close to the crime scene, just so we can try and investigate and see if we can find any signs of Brandon.
Mm.
Okay. What, you want to meet there, or do you want to go there after you meet up?
Meet up first is what I would prefer.
Okay. Then eventually you all begin to kind of coalesce outside the inn, and finally the last two to arrive are Todd and Nathaniel.
You guys doing all right? You look frazzled.
It's fine. Had a minor complication, but we dealt with it.
Got it.
All right. So, from now on, everybody takes a buddy. Let's go scout out this place, see if we can find maybe Brandon dropped something, at least something to verify that he was here.
Okay. So you make your way towards, or at least after asking around and getting directions and things like that, you make your way towards this crime scene where you know that Brandon was. And that's where I will freeze the story. Brandon, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
And are you ready?
No, I'm not.
Excellent. Okay. So where we left off with you, you just watched. In fact, let me move this up.
What kind of cold ass shit is this? Fuck these guys. Is that where they have me tied up? Is on
Yep.
that tablet thing?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck these guys.
You look around, and you look around, and down at your feet, you can clearly see the woman that was just a moment ago drinking your blood, forcibly taken from you. And they're kind of beginning to watch her, and you can slowly see her breath leave her, and no longer breathing. She goes still. This man here will kind of run over to you, and almost like he's about to begin drinking straight from you. But this man will kind of stop him. Peter. No, not yet. Let's wait. Let's see if she comes back first. This man will look over at him and say, but what about the others? We don't know if they'll be after him. What if they come? We need to do this now.
Can I spend my last willpower to try to muster like a couple small words?
What would you like to say?
Not safe.
Not safe, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I
Like
will allow
weak
that.
and raspy.
You say this, and this man will kind of look to you. Incredible. He can still speak. Huh. They really do have, and this man will now interrupt him. What does he mean? What does he mean not safe? We're not safe?
Also, I'm out of willpower, so I'll take -2.
Yep. He will kind of look at you and just begin to look kind of scared, almost like he has some regrets, but at the same time he is looking at your blood almost like a rabid dog would look at a piece of meat. And at this point, he will actually go in and begin to bite into the holes that were stabbed by this man a moment ago. This man will kind of take a step back and just begin to sigh as this man, you know, the chief inspector,
Yeah, that fucking cockhead.
he will kind of move in front of you and look deep in your eyes as you cannot move and just smile, watching this other man kind of desperately take in any blood that he can. Please take another hunger.
Good. Right.
And at 4 hunger, you begin to kind of deep down feel that burn, that rage. The beast wants to rip out and tear these people apart. But
He can't.
the stake holds you and the beast in place. This man will finish drinking and move away from you. And he will look to both of them. And you watch as this man kind of hesitates and he just says, "We don't know if it'll fully work yet. We need to study this. We need to..." And before he can finish his sentence, you watch the police, the chief inspector, take out what looks to be a gun, a firearm, and just shoot him in the head. And he falls down, unmoving, just like the girl. What would Brandon be thinking right now as all this is happening?
Probably flashbacks to Vietnam during the
Mhm.
war. The crazy shit that he would have seen. Just like reminiscing on that, thinking of how, of all this time of his life, he's, been through the war. He's survived something that not a lot of people have. He's made it this long as a kindred, and this is how he's going to die.
As you're thinking of this, the chief inspector will kind of take a few steps forward, almost like he himself is about to begin to feed off of you. But he notices that the blood coming out of you is slowing, going to a standstill. And this man will kind of rush over and examine you. He needs more. He doesn't have enough left. We need to feed him. We need to... Before he can say it, this one will say something very interesting. And in fact, with the hunger that you're at, could you please make me a composure resolve check?
I'm gonna fail this. Composure and resolve.
Yep. You just need a 1. You just need a 1.
Hopefully I can get it with 2 dice and no willpower.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see.
It's not a skill.
second.
They're both traits.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay, and then -2. I don't want to look at it.
You got it? You got a 1.
Sweet.
So in this burning hunger, you'll manage to just catch on to what they're saying and keep track of the conversation. As this chief inspector says, "So is that going to work this time?" I mean, we fed the other one all of that, and nothing happened. He didn't wake up. He didn't do anything. Will it work on this one? And this one will say the what you can guess is some kind of doctor. Well, this one's in a different state. This one's will actually rub some of the blood off your chest. Still fresh. I believe it will. Right then. I guess I gotta go get this dog a bone. And he will kind of look at you while smirking, walking past you, disappearing behind you. And then alone, with the two bodies in the room, this doctor, this more kind of educated man out of all of them will kind of just stand in front of you and just stare and stare and stare until you feel that tiredness. You feel when the sun is rising and you just go into the abyss and darkness.
How will it be to do that while I'm stable? Like, will my eyes be open, but I go like even more comatose? Or
Basically, you will remain looking what you look like now, but your brain just won't be there. Your consciousness won't be there.
okay.
Okay. And there, we will pick up back with the other group. Let's move.
I think we need to be on the lookout for more of these letters. I've been able to piece together a little bit about what's going on based on what that woman told me. We talked to her last night. She said she'd heard about some kind of dig going on nearby, and that there was a group. Looks like they found a kindred with some kind of book, and they're the ones doing this. So the thing is, we don't know exactly what's in that book, but it does seem like they know about a lot of our weaknesses. So we don't know what we're looking for, but we know that there's some mortals that know what we are. At the very least, they know the basics. And they're looking for us. Especially this Tom guy. I don't know who Tom is, but this last letter we found, the most recent one, he's looking about finding a living one.
You don't think they found Brandon, do you?
Nah, these letters are before Brandon got taken.
Do you think
Pretty
anybody
sure
else took him?
I'm thinking that maybe these people took him based on what's in this letters. After all, think about it. They were trying to draw people out. That's what it says here. It says Tom started to talk about finding a living one. We had to draw one out by using the book, and we could make it seem that a vampire was telling the world all their secrets, and that's when we'd strike and force them to turn us one at a time.
Oh, what?
This
God's name.
This crime scene, this was an ambush. And if we'd stopped to pay attention to these letters, we probably would have noticed that. But at the time, all this stuff was just all jumbled together, and I couldn't make sense of it. But it's starting to make sense now that Brandon disappeared.
I think it makes a bit more sense. They were really learning. I wonder what happened to that poor police officer then. She knew
That could have been
a
our...
lot.
Yeah, it could have been our friend. But maybe not. Maybe there's someone else. There's another kindred somewhere around here. They found, based on these letters, they found an old one. I don't know who it was, but apparently he's pretty old. Some old English noble, maybe a friend of Mithras's.
Makes sense as to why
So-
Mithras needed help.
Yeah, they might have woken that one up, and that might have been the one who's been dominating the police officer. We just don't know.
Do you think it might be worth it if one of us tries to lure them out?
How would we lure them out? Set a trap for the trappers?
I've seen weirder done before.
But that means we have to wait until they set another trap like one of these crime scenes. I honestly don't want to risk any more masquerade breaches.
Well, I think all
That
we can
wolf
do.
owl. Every time one of these things happens, and those people that you noticed last night who weren't people, means we're being hunted.
Mhm.
I don't know jack all about the werewolves, but I have a feeling they don't like us in their stomping grounds. So I think we should look together for signs of Brandon at this crime scene.
Mhm.
And then if we don't find anything, I think maybe we need to go find this dig site. That's where they found the ancient vampire. Unless somebody else has any better ideas.
Nothing. Poor.
All right, I suppose we're gonna go investigate the crime scene, see if we can find a sign of Brandon.
Okay. And it doesn't take you long, as this town again is very small, to kind of ask for directions and make your way there. And as you kind of turn this corner down a street, you see a police officer standing outside a building. Some of the building is kind of cordoned off with yellow tape. What do you do? You just walk
We could either
in,
play the
or-
role of Interpol, or we could try to sneak past him. I could try to entrance him.
I'm better at the sneaky stuff than anything else.
Do we have an excuse if we get caught sneaking past them?
Well,
I'm gonna say we use these fancy badges.
yeah, makes sense.
All right, let's stick together then for now.
Okay. So, are all four of you going straight up and using the badges to go in? Speak now if you do not wish to be a part of the four. Okay. In that case, you begin to make your way over to the this home that seems to be cordoned off by the police. And once you kind of get close enough, the police officer will kind of raise a hand. Yeah, can I help you lot?
Agent Steele, Detector, Interpol. We're here to investigate scene of the crime.
Oh,
I'm sure you've been briefed.
Yeah. Your partner was here last night. Didn't he already check this place over?
Well, you know how you can always overlook thing. Just here to make a last quick check before we close the area off.
All right, yeah. He'll actually lift the tape for all of you to go in. Do you all go in?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
On the inside, you will see a normal-looking house, except on the floor you see blood stains. On the desk nearby, you see blood stains, and it looked like there seemed to be a struggle here. As you're entering the house, you notice that the front door has been heavily damaged. What do you do?
Everybody catch that on the way in? Agent Duncan was here and he had a look around.
So at least we got
See if-
confirmation that he did show up and do his job.
So, he either made it here and he was taken here, possibly this was an ambush site, or he left. Let's see if we can find anything around here. Maybe something that would indicate signs of a recent scuffle. If not, we can go talk to that guy outside.
I don't see him not coming back to us. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
He seems like the
Pretty sure
gloating
that-
type.
Yeah, this is just looking worse and worse. They would have had to overpower him or incapacitate him somehow.
Can I look on the
I would
ground?
like-
Go ahead.
Good.
I was gonna say if I could look at the ground to see if I could find like any lines of like where a body could be dragged. That makes sense, like with the heels and such.
Okay, make me a investigation check. Wits investigation.
I will assist him since I have no better ideas at the moment.
Okay, then you get a +1 to this roll.
Thank you. Hey,
3. As you look around the room, and as you examine the floors, you can tell there was a scuffle here, perhaps a while ago, and it doesn't really seem like it was if Brandon was here, which you know he was, it doesn't look like he, had a fight here or anything. From what you can see, the damage to the room looks to be, old. The blood on top of it has been dried for a long time, and there are no scratches on top of the dried blood, so you can definitely see that there hasn't been any scuffles here in the last, 2 days.
that doesn't make any sense.
They incapacitated him.
It's not like we
Either
could
they know
pass
magic.
off. Sorry.
I was gonna say either they know magic or they know how to use stakes. I can't think of any other way that it might work. I mean, there's not enough blood around here for them to have taken all the blood out of him.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. But steak? My God.
Well, this book in Latin apparently had stuff about clans and Cain, so why wouldn't it have stuff about stakes?
But I'm surprised they're able to be so precise with it.
Oh, stake to the heart. It's an old thing.
Old,
I mean-
strict old.
Yeah, doesn't kill us, but maybe they don't want to kill us. That certainly doesn't seem like that's the intent of Tom, based on this letter.
Why would they want to keep what's alive then?
Well, you said
Looks
something
like-
about them.
Yeah, it looks like they need it that way. It's kind of unclear. I feel like we're missing pieces of the puzzle. We only got 3 of the letters, and sounds like they found something before that, in between this second letter and this last one.
You think they really want to try to expose us?
Well, it's pretty clear here in this last letter, and I show him letter number 5, which I don't know is letter number 5. As far as I know, it's letter number 3, but I show him letter number 5, and I say it's pretty clear here that they figured out that they need us to be living, because previously they apparently had tried to wake the other one up, the old one. I'm thinking maybe the elder was just smart enough not to awaken in front of them, if it could contain its frenzy.
Tell me if I'm wrong. You should have 5 letters.
Well, we
I
do
had
have
the
5
one
letters.
that I had the one that they didn't get.
Ah, you're right.
Yeah, as I recall from last session, it was letters 3 and 4 that Brandon found at this area, and we only have letters 1, 2, and 5.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I'm trying not to metagame.
Yes.
Mm.
I got confused there for a second.
All right, so this seems to be like the place where Brandon might have been taken. Now we need to see if we can figure out where they took him. Maybe there's CCTV that we could get access to. I'll go talk to the cop.
Mm-hmm.
You go and talk to the cop?
I think that's what we need to do. Before we go, I want to clear up what we need to get from him.
Okay.
So we need a believable story why we're looking for Agent Duncan. Let's pretend like we know where Agent Duncan is. Say maybe he left something out of his notes. And ask if he went anywhere else. Or if the cop saw what direction he went, if he was even here. If the cop was here, I mean. Poke
could
holes in
always-
it if you can.
I could always try to mesmerize them if that helps.
I don't think dominating somebody's gonna get us super far.
If he doesn't prove to be compliant, then yeah, that's useful. But if we don't have to mesmerize him, there's no need to.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I mean, as far as he may not have even been here. Oh no, mesmerizing's not a bad idea. I'm just saying you always have to tempt the beast to do something like that.
Yeah, and right now none of us are in a good place to be doing that.
And if we err, I could always cloud his memory.
Clouding his memory is probably the best thing that we can do. So after we have our conversation, try to make him forget that we were ever here.
Mm-hmm.
In that case,
All right, let's
But
go
of
talk.
course,
Yeah.
so who approaches and talks with the police officer?
Probably Todd, unless someone else wants to take the lead.
Jess will go with him to provide help.
same here.
Okay. So you all kind of make your way to this police officer standing outside, looking very bored and miserable. And as you do, he just turns around and says, so agents, did you get what you needed?
Possibly. Officer, I'm sorry, we didn't catch your name.
Oh, Samson.
Samson. Officer Samson, you were on duty last night here?
Yep. Still haven't come off duty, in fact.
Oh, I see. Oh, sorry about that. Look, we're just trying to make sure that we've got all the pieces of the puzzle right. Agent Duncan, when he was here, did you happen to see what direction he left by? We think there might be a gap in our notes.
Yeah, he went with the chief inspector. I think they were heading back to the station. And he kind of points just down the road that you came from, that heads further into town. Yeah, him and the chief inspector, they left here last night. I could radio in to see if he's there.
No need.
no.
Was it just the chief inspector then?
Yep, the chief was here looking over the scene. He's taking an interest in this one personally. They
Yeah.
left together.
Good old Tom. Great chief inspector.
Tom? His name's not Tom.
Oh,
His
I must
name's
be mixing them up. What was
Michael. His name's Michael.
Michael? Michael, of course. Sorry about that. I must have been mixing them up with someone else.
Tom?
Thanks for all your help.
Do you mean the archaeologist?
Yes, that's exactly who I was talking about. Thank you so much.
Is that, yeah.
I forgot what he did. These eggheads, you know?
Yeah.
Did Tom and the inspector know each other?
Yeah, they've been hanging around each other ever since they moved into town.
And how
Oh, wow.
long ago was that?
Must have been maybe month and a half ago.
Tom, is he one of the ones with the American accent?
Oh, Tom? No, posh London lad.
Right.
Yeah, very, ooh, look at me, I went to Oxford. That kind of person, dickheads.
Oh, lovely.
Ah.
Yeah, that man
All right.
will.
Well, as I said,
every
thanks for all your help.
opportunity Oh yeah, no problem. No, yeah. Next time you come round, bring me a cup of tea, and we'll call it even. Yeah.
Sounds good.
As he says that, I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder. Like, no, you can forget about that, and do cloud memory.
He will kind of blink again, and then just. Sorry, can I help you?
Just. No. We were just got turned around, but thanks for the instructions and the directions.
Oh, yeah.
I'll turn around and walk the other way.
Quick question: Is he alone, or are we alone, or are we like in public?
Right. Make me a awareness check.
Okay.
That's not going to be a good idea.
Awareness and wits, or
Wait, awareness, yeah. Ooh, okay. From what you can see, it's still quite rainy. It's more like a drizzle now. But looking around, the streets seem to be empty. Other than that, you see a large dog across the street that's kind of just looking in your general direction. It's kind of like in the bushes a little bit. But other than that,
right. And for context, did I manage to eat earlier, or did I not?
you did not.
Well, since I look at the two, and I'm like, I didn't get a chance to have lunch today. And if I don't see anybody, I want to try to use another power.
hmm
Would lingering kiss help me kind of reel him in, so to speak?
Lingering kiss works after you bite him.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I need a meal right now because I'm pretty hungry. And I'm thinking this guy will do the bill.
Looks like your hunger is only 1.
Yeah,
your hunger is only 1.
Yeah, 1 is the lowest you can go without
Oh, I thought it
draining
was gonna be
somebody
first.
completely.
I'm sorry. Then in that
Yeah.
case, I'll let him be for right now.
Okay.
I'm
You
sorry,
and
I did the wrong thing.
yeah,
Sorry.
five means you're really hungry. 1 means you're you're always feeling hungry unless you're at 0, but 1 is like the normal kind of vampire state.
Gotcha.
Unless you kill someone. If you kill someone, you go down to 0 and you are at your full power as a vampire. But you have to kill someone.
Understood. Sorry about that. I'll leave him be.
And it may not be necessary, but I just want to scope out just in case. Where is there any CCTV on the area?
No, this is a residential area. Especially in 2002, there are no cameras in this area.
Okay.
How about the surrounding areas?
You can probably guess that the closest CCTV would be kind of more in town area where the where the inn is, where the pub is, that kind of square.
I would be curious to see if we can find anything because he said that he went with the inspector. Maybe we can find his car, see where he went to. Shot in the dark.
You say that to the group?
Yes.
Okay. I'm guessing you're saying this as you're walking away.
Yeah.
Oh, out of
this is-
earshot, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What I know for sure is that the police station is a dangerous place to be right now, especially with the chief inspector and Tom being buddy-buddy. Tom has mentioned several times in these letters, and he's the one who wanted to go after all of this. If the two of them are in cahoots, it's fairly safe to assume that they are working together on this. I'm starting to wonder if maybe the chief inspector and Tom were both together and ambushed Brandon.
Plus the people I saw last night at least. I don't know.
Sounds to me like those are werewolves sniffing the sky. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Tom has some special sense.
Could I have Jessica, Nathaniel, and Todd make me intelligence occult?
Can I rouse?
You can rouse if you wish.
Okay.
There's gonna be a whole lot of nothing, most likely, but
Okay. So Todd and Jessica. Yep, Todd and Jessica.
I don't think that's right because I don't have. That should not be my die pool.
Ooh.
Yeah, there we go.
Jessica, somehow, some way, you succeed at this check.
I get
And
smart sometimes.
you know, when it's dangerous, when things and people are going missing, and you know you can feel a battle on the horizon, that's when Jessica's
Sometimes-
the sharpest.
Yeah, that's when those few brain cells really pull through. I am looking at that police officer though.
You think back when you first arrived here in Elizabeth's car, being driven here and being told the situation about the werewolves, and you were told, if you remember correctly, that even though the werewolves had promised to take care of this vampire, she told you that they really haven't been doing anything. And from what you saw last night, werewolves are out. They are looking. And then it kind of clicks in your head. This whole time, these werewolves, they've been looking for a kindred. And no wonder why this whole time they haven't done anything about it. It's not that they're trying to fuck over the vampires. It is quite literally they've been hunting the wrong type of prey this entire time. And it kind of just clicks in your head that they're smelling for the wrong prey.
Oh. I think I understand what's going on here. It might be possible that these werewolves are hunting the incorrect thing.
Until they now have the right smell in town, thanks to your arrival.
And it might be possible that our arrival back in town set them right on track.
Well, that's good, right?
No, I don't think it's good
No,
at
it's
all.
not.
Because up until we arrived in town, I mean, Tony might have been the only one around here, and people doing the killing were these mortals.
Yeah.
Remember, they were taking blood to try and wake this ancient vampire. Now, they found a vampire. They found one of us. And the werewolves have... Take a look. 4 vampires walking around town.
Yep.
I mean, we're not responsible for what they do, right?
What they might do to us.
Yeah, that's more the concern.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So, he said that the police officer said that Brandon left with the chief inspector. If Brandon's gonna be anywhere, they probably took him back to that dig site to just have solitude, or they might have taken him back to the police station.
I don't think they're dumb enough to pick him to the police station. At least
Why
I
not?
hope not. Because they have 4 detectives. One of us is missing.
Are we still in eye shot of that police officer?
You'd be at the end of the road, so if you look back, you can just see his kind of like silhouette in the rain.
I need to eat again.
Again?
I'm sorry. It took a little bit extra to rub my 3 brain cells together.
Let's go. There's a place we can go. It's discreet. Anybody gets hurt, they won't be as missed. Remember that warehouse I was telling you about?
Yeah. 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 She just
I
smiles.
don't recommend you try to overpower a police officer. You're probably gonna win, but I don't want you to get hurt in the process. That's kind of
Oh, look at you
missing the
looking
point.
out for my well-being. Yeah, let's go. I need a quick butt.
Okay. So I'm guessing you're talking about the place where all the homeless junkies stay.
Yep.
Just sounds like Jessica's meal. Delicious. Okay. So
I
you
hate
make your
it.
way you make your way to the more kind of seedy part of this small village, and just approaching it, you can see a few people, few homeless, kind of taking shelter there from the rain. A few kind of what look to be kind of campfires in barrels are lit, And just by approaching, you can all clearly see that most of these people, if not all of them, are on some type of, substance. They're definitely not your regular food source, Jessica.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Nope.
But all right. I just gotta make this go as fast as possible. Any of them standing kind of like alone?
Many of them. Some of them are even unconscious.
I'm
since
not
the-
eating from those ones.
But yes, you may have your pick. You see a kind of a black man standing alone with kind of what look to be half his hair are dreaded, while the other half kind of just bushes up at the side. You see a kind of more older woman, looking very thin, very pale, kind of just trying to warm herself by one of the fires. And you see what looks to be like a teenage runaway, maybe around, honestly, probably around 14 years old, a young girl who's kind of just looks like she's playing a game on her phone, but you can smell the kind of the weed coming from her. They're your choices.
I'm going to approach the healthiest looking one. So I end up being the 14-year-old girl.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Now, since you're a siren, this is going to be strange, so go ahead.
I'm not actually. You know what? Probably. Yeah, never
Unless-
mind. Actually.
Unless you want to spend a
Hey,
willpower
Jess.
to ignore that.
You're just gonna see me look at you like, are you really doing that?
No. No,
We
I'm
just
not.
had a moment.
No, I just had a moment of clarity. Not how I like to feed. Nope. I'll go for the guy.
Okay. So, as you approach, he'll kind of just look up to you, and kind of put a smile on his face, even though in his eyes you can see that he's clearly on something, and he'll kind of just usher you over to the fire, like welcoming you to warm yourself. Now,
Yep.
here's the question: do you approach?
Yeah.
And there it is. So, as you approach the fire, please make me a frenzy
Ah,
check.
fuck me. Difficulty.
2.
Fuck me. Fuck. 3 successes.
Okay. The beast inside wants to immediately run and never look back, as the enemy, the great enemy, other than the sun, is of course fire. And just seeing fire up close can make a kindred lose their shit. But Jessica's hungry. And
She's hungry.
she kind of forces herself to keep control and get closer and closer to the fire. The closer you get, the more the beast begins to rattle in the cage, wanting to escape the situation.
Going behind him for a little bit of a barrier, and I'm just gonna drag him back.
Oh.
He's out of it. He won't notice.
Okay. In that case, you grab him and you drag him into a dark kind of like recess of this building. He will begin to try and make noise. Hey, what are you doing? What do you do?
I'm gonna activate awe.
I would like to heighten senses and just make sure nobody else is reacting, like, or,
Okay.
coming to stop or anything like that.
Okay.
And I'm
make
going
me...
to activate.
Well, hang on. Make me a wits awareness and add your aura on top of that.
Wits awareness and add awe.
Your heightened senses. Sorry.
Auspex.
Oh, that's not
Yes,
me.
aspects. Okay. Looking around, honestly, people are either way too down in their life right now to really give a shit, and the other half are just way too on something to give a shit.
Good. Allow her to proceed.
Now, Jessica, as you try and activate awe, and you do activate it, for some reason, the fact that you did not do this before, kind of doing this aggressive move to this man, seems like it has no effect on him, as this man is now not, well, more hostile towards you, and
Okay.
your ability does not seem to work on him.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna wait for him to calm down.
Jesus, lady, what do you want? I haven't got any money. Don't
It's
tell me to
alright.
shoot. You shoot.
Calm down. You look like you've been lonely for a while.
What do you want?
Is he finally calm?
He is not fighting back, but he is not fully calm.
Well, I happen to be a little bit lonely too.
Oh,
And with that, she's gonna activate awe again.
now you may do it. And
Yes.
as you kind of do this, he'll just look at you with a kind of growing smile. Oh, and he kind of begins to flatten his hair on one side, trying to look a little bit more presentable. Well, if that's what you want, then I wouldn't say no.
Oh yeah.
All right. Do you have a place where we can go?
Place a little more secluded. Are there any like alleyways or anything?
Many where you are right now,
All right, I'll
including.
just go into an alleyway.
Okay. Question for the rest of the group: is anyone going to watch?
Oh God.
I know what she's actually planning to do. I'm going to watch from a discreet distance.
Okay. So, as you kind of take him by the hand and begin to lead him around the corner, you can't help notice that some of your coterie members are behind, kind of just watching, making sure that, things don't get out of hand, or, you lose control or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But as you kind of reach this isolated area, he'll just kind of put his hands on your hip and kind of look a little bit shy, like he knows you're way, way out of his league, but looks also excited at the prospects.
Yep. I'm gonna do what I usually do, and she's just gonna like nuzzle up to his neck and plant a couple of kisses on there.
He smells.
And then yep. And I'm just gonna get this done as quickly as possible. She's just going to sink her fangs in.
Okay. And as you do, with most people, there is a jolt of pain. But with him, wherever he's on, he takes it and he doesn't really seem to mind. How many do you take?
2.
Okay. He is weakened, but not unconscious.
Yep. And then once that's said and done, I'm gonna lick the wound and kind of like catch him in my arms.
Could you make me a make me a stamina composure.
Mhm.
Let's see if Jess gets high.
Oh, this ought to be good if she does.
A Bruja high. That's not dangerous at
Two,
all.
2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. With 2 successes, you do feel a little bit of a buzz, but it's not strong enough to kind of overtake you. And
Okay.
you manage to keep control, taking the man and grabbing him and kind of leaning him against the wall and watching him kind of slump down. He'll just kind of, just give me a moment, darling. Oh, I'm just feeling really
Yeah.
lightheaded.
Oh, you're okay. Hope that was as good for you as it was for me.
He'll kind of just look up at you with a confused face and just look around. Yeah, you're amazing.
Yeah.
So when can I see you again?
Mm. Maybe you'll see me around.
Oh, count on it. I will see you.
Yeah.
He'll just kind of
Getting that.
lean against the dumpster and sleep off what you just did to him.
I'm
You
gonna
can guess
walk
that
back.
you can guess that he's having some really good dreams right now.
Probably, and I'm just gonna walk back out and.
Okay. The rest of you see Jessica emerge, looking. Would you say that was Jessica's one night stand kind of walk back, like
Ugh, yeah.
yeah, the walk of shame Jessica does.
What time is it?
Now, still pretty early. It would be around 9 o'clock.
10 o'clock. We need to get our phones and clothes.
All right. Would I have been able to taste what he was on?
Ooh, that's a good point. Well, actually, has Jessica in her mortal life ever experimented with drugs?
Probably shrooms and like weed and like maybe a little bit of coke.
In that case, you could not tell what he was on. It was something probably
Uh-oh.
very damaging to the body and the mind, and probably something very cheap that does the job but also kills the body.
Ugh. I don't like that feeling. I don't. See, it's one thing if it's like cocaine or something, but like I don't know what he was on, and I don't know if I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I just looked at Jess and grin. You better bring your man flowers later.
I will eat you.
Damn. What is your next move after Jessica slowly cringes to death?
I think we should try to find where this dig site is, and then go pick up our phones and clothes. Then decide if we want to go to the dig site or try and find Brandon. I don't know if we have enough time to try and spring Brandon from the police station, if that's even where he is.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make some pretty quick decisions. Usually,
Nathaniel, you've been pretty quiet. What's going on in that head?
I'm not sure. I've been thinking It's probably nothing, but do you guys think that Chief Inspector was a werewolf? Since they do run this village.
Interesting thought. If that's the case, then I'd say there's no point in going after Brandon, because he's probably dead.
I don't know. I mean, these letters, they tell me a different story.
Yeah, especially this last one. Certainly seems like Tom, who's very buddy with the Chief Inspector from what we understand, is trying to capture a live one. That's not the way I've understood werewolves operate. I do not know that much about werewolves other than they try to kill us.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to capture one of us. I don't know why. The idea of a werewolf on Vitae, though, is not a good one.
And this is an underworld. I don't think they got a romance with him.
Right. Actually, Jessica, your friend, he's related to Amara, right?
I think so.
Do you think he would give you her number if you asked? We could theoretically ask her if the Chief Inspector has been back yet.
I'm gonna take out my phone. And I'm gonna shoot a text to Tom. My Tom. Hey, I was wondering if you knew any girls that were looking for friends. As much as I love hanging out with you, I've been missing girl time, and being constantly surrounded by men has been making me miss going out with my girlfriends.
A few moments later, you get a text back. Yeah, I know a few girls. Although, can I call you later? I'm a little bit busy right now.
Yeah.
Damn, Jessica got turned around for the first time.
In the back of your head, you could hear the Ventrue, if he was here, making fun of you.
You know, maybe I don't want to save Brandon after all. It's been nice not having him around.
A Ventrue's gonna be a Ventrue always.
And in the back of Brandon's mind, he can hear Jess taunting him. At least I'm not stuck by a stake.
Love it. But it doesn't really sound like him. You notice that the reply that he gave, he's usually very excited, or at least has been for the last 2 days, to talk with you, which you find a little bit weird.
Yeah. That's a bit off-putting.
What is?
It's the last small bunch of times I've talked to this guy, he's been pretty enthusiastic, and Uh, maybe it's the drugs. But, distant? Distant. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Did you have a fight with him or something?
No, no. If anything, when he dropped me off last night, he seemed... Huh.
He also said he would see you tomorrow.
Yeah, he did.
Do you think he was a little bit angered that he didn't get the chance to spend the night?
I
You know
don't...
how guys are.
Yeah.
Or Jessica, how many people saw you and him together?
I mean, we went to a movie, but
So anybody could have seen you together.
yeah.
Jessica,
Yeah.
when we did that meeting, that guy was watching all of us, and you did have quite the kiss in front of the pub. And I did see those people earlier. Maybe they're around this area.
Oh,
You want us
I
to go
gotta...
check in on Tom, see how
Yeah,
he's doing?
yeah. And she's gonna, fucking not even another thought, she's gonna start running to his house.
Okay.
Hold on, we have to be able to catch up with you.
I'm chasing after her.
Learn how to get faster then.
The ones that
I
do
mean,
not
Todd's
have
not slow.
the guys who do not have celerity, you're gonna be lagging behind Jessica, as she kind of just takes off, and with her kind of Bruja strength, you even see as she begins to kind of let loose. As she takes that first step, she even cracks the concrete as she takes that first kind of jolt into a run.
Can I try to keep up with her?
Do you have celerity?
I have the good old I could try.
I got the good old 1-2. Let's go.
Okay, for the people that don't have celerity, make me a Dex Athletics.
I do have celerity, but I only have cat's grace. Would that
It's
be
okay. As long as you
okay?
have a bit of celerity, you can kind of keep pace with Jessica. She's a little bit faster, but still, you're naturally fast just by having it.
Somebody quick take D in their arms.
Can I do a willpower?
You don't need to, as the DC for this was a free.
Oh, damn, okay.
So you're not keeping pace with her like Nathaniel, but you are able to keep within eye contact, and kind of you're still kind of lagging behind, but you're not. She isn't losing you at any point. Todd, do you have celerity?
Yes.
Okay, then that's easy enough. And you kind of just take off, and it doesn't take you long as you're all kind of going. Now, I'm going to ask you to just all roll me a dexterity stealth as you are moving at inhuman speeds now through this town.
I would also like to activate heightened senses to see if anybody is noticing anything
Okay.
and making a dangerous comment.
In that case, Nathaniel, when you do roll that, put in -1 on that because you are quite literally moving at incredible speeds. and it is hard for you to kind of keep track of what's happening around you.
All right.
Okay. Oh, Nathaniel rolled a 0.
I rolled it before I added the minus though.
Oh, no. The -1 was just for Todd.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to willpower reroll that.
Okay. One. And Todd, did you roll?
Did you want wits awareness?
Yep. Add your Auspex, but then -1 because you're moving at incredible speeds right now.
Got it.
2. Okay. So as you kind of all begin to tear through this small town, this village, and you're kind of throwing cautious to the wind a little bit here, you can't help, Todd, but notice it looks like the same big dog looking creature that you saw outside the crime scene that was in the bushes. You can't help but to see that same dog in the kind of like central part of the town, and it's there, and you watch it just kind of weirdly follow you as you run by, and the last thing you see before turning the corner, it just begins to slowly walk behind you. But then you're gone, and it's out of sight.
Say to Jessica as I chase after her, Agent, have some decorum.
Yeah, I'm more so keeping to the shadows and stuff so I can kind of stealth run.
Okay. Eventually, you do end up at Tom's place. Outside, as you arrive, you quickly notice on the inside, Jessica, as you're the first one there, Tom's there. He doesn't look hurt. He doesn't look armed in any way. But he is talking quite loudly, and he looks kind of startled in a way. And I would like you to make me a wits awareness to try and hear what he's talking about.
Can I rouse?
You can.
Two successes.
Okay. You don't catch everything that is being said on the inside, but you do catch bits and pieces. You hear him say, okay, so what do we know? She didn't show up to work. No one's seen her. And then you kind of, the rain gets a little bit heavy and you miss the next part. Have you looked in the park? We like to go there sometimes. You miss the next part. Right.
Have I caught up yet?
Yes, at this point you all would have arrived.
I think we have a tail. What's going on?
His sister's missing, I think.
Well, luckily some 8 Interpol agents can help out. Have you told him who you are?
Not yet.
Who you are, and with the badge?
No, not yet.
And then you hear
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't have much time to tell him. Oh yeah, you know, I'm a special agent here on a mission in between all the. Never mind.
Did you tell him your actual name, or did you tell him your badge name?
I told him my real name, but I have a cover up for that. It's fine.
You begin to hear him kind of talk a little bit louder now and say, "So, I mean, do you think it's this killer? What do we do?" And then you hear a
Go
voice.
knock on his door.
Hang on. You hear a voice that none of you have heard before. You hear. But let me. You hear a kind of deep voice coming from across the room and beginning to walk into frame. You see this man. For the first time, you're seeing this man, and he looks like a police officer, but much more decorated. And he's got a cup of tea in his hand, drinking it, while talking to Tommy and trying to kind of calm him down. Do you still knock on the door?
100 Pounds says that's a chief inspector. Hey, what if we nab him?
Or we could tell him, see where he goes.
That is actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
What are we
could
going
you-
to tell him?
Jess heard her boyfriend's voice not sounding right. She came over.
Except that was a text message.
Well, same thing.
I could just
You
say
just
it's a
knew.
woman's intuition.
No, just a lover's thing.
Yeah, something like that.
I just put my hand on her shoulder. Go to him.
You guys got to back me up. Because
Of
this might
course.
come off a bit creepy. And she's going to go and she's going to knock on the door.
Okay. We will freeze.
I'll go
the
up with
story
her.
there. We will
Oh
freeze
yeah,
it
we're all
there.
going, yeah.
As we will move the story back to Brandon for a moment. Brandon, you there?
Yep.
So, as you reawake, and let's move everyone. As you kind of reawake, could you make me a rouse check?
Is
No.
the negative penalty gonna add to
No,
that?
no. Just do a simple rouse.
If I fail, I'm fucked.
That is a fail. You are at, I believe, 5, right?
Absolutely, I am.
As you wake, still paralyzed, but now conscious, all the lights in the room kind of hurt your eyes, and inside your stomach, it is like an inferno of fire is going off. Your mind begins to wander, and you are unable to kind of really focus on any real true thought, or even string together a few different ideas. Now, you can't help but imagine ripping anything that is alive completely open and drinking everything on the inside. And as this man kind of walks into your eyesight, now realizing that you're kind of back with the small twitches in your hands and your eyes, he just kind of looks at you and studies you for a moment and then calls out, "All right, it's time. It's awake." You also notice in the back, now moved onto kind of stone slabs, are the 2 people that drank your blood and died. And they are looking a lot more pale. They haven't awoken yet, but you know that it can take different amounts of time for different people. And as he kind of says this, you see two people kind of enter the frame. You see your best friend enter. And along with him, you see, dragging behind him, an unconscious woman. A woman that looks very familiar to you. What are you thinking in this moment? If you can even think at all.
That's rough because, I mean, if I could think, I'd be thinking of all people, it had to be her.
He will begin to restrain her as she's still knocked out, looking like she has taken a wound on the head. And you watch as the doctor kind of goes to the other side of her and takes one of these tubes that is connected to that same weapon that they stabbed you with, that you could see that was connected with the bodies, making the two puncture marks on the neck. And he kind of puts this needle in the side of her arm. He turns on this machine, this weapon, and it begins to make noise as the blood begins to pump from her arm. And he quickly moves over to you and will just shove another needle into the side of your arm, and you begin to feel the vitae enter your body. Take off one. Hunger.
Does it take one?
Yep. The blood from this woman, from Mara, it is coming out of her slowly. It looks like they are trying to refill you in order to get more of your blood to turn the other two. And you can tell that if this goes on for a long time, Mara will die just from the sheer blood loss. You watch as the kind of man steps up, the doctor, the kind of more educated person, and says, "Well, thank you, Michael. I didn't expect you to bring one of your own." He will scoff at that. "She's not one of mine. She's some transfer. Honestly, she's been driving me up the fucking wall. But if this calls for blood, I don't know why I can't get rid of a fauna at the same time. And that reminds me, in fact, she's got a brother who lives here as well. You think you're going to need more?" He'll look over at Tom, and he will kind of just nod while examining you closely, Brendan, kind of looking at your body and how stiff it is, how pale it is. Every now and then he even pokes you just to see what you feel like. Yes, that'll be fine. The more blood, the better. In fact, I believe once we go through this transformation, we may need to feed quite a lot. If the book, and at this point he'll pull out a leather, very old-looking book with fancy kind of golden filigree down the side. If the book kind of is right about what it talks about, we will be very ravenous. In fact, I'm considering locking up those two. And he points at the two people still unconscious or dead, just in case. In fact, that's what I'll do now. And he'll kind of quickly move out the way. You watch as this person you now know as Michael look at you and kind of just smile at your face. And he'll actually take up his hand and place it on the stake in your heart and just push it in a few more inches. You can't move and you can't scream, but on the inside, this hurts. And the pain kind of rocks your body, almost like being electrocuted. Just pushes it in a few more inches and chuckles. Then kneels down at the unconscious Amara and smiles and just says, "Don't worry, love. I'll get your brother here nice and safe, and you won't be alone." He will stand and then kind of look around the room, notice that you're out of the equation. Tom is out of the room right now, and the other two are quite literally dead. He will kneel back down to Amara, and you watch him kiss her, and you watch him begin to grope her, and then just smile. Then walk past her, look at you one more time, smile again, and then walk out.
God, I'm actually considering burning a fucking aggravated will.
A few moments later, the man returns, Tom, you now know as, and he will begin to lock up, kind of chain the other two that are, from what you know, are probably turning right now. Is there any thoughts that Brandon would have in this moment?
Feeling sorry for this professor guy because Brandon's getting the feeling that Michael's going to betray him.
Okay.
And that Michael's a coward.
In that case, we will leave you there and go back. Now, fast forwarding back in time, or forward in time, as the group has just found the chief inspector with Tommy. And Jessica, what were you about to do?
Knock on the door.
Okay, you knock on the door and you hear a kind of quietness come over the room, and then quickly opening the door, you see Tommy.
And my friends
hey.
are behind me, right?
Yep. Hey, he kind of takes a step outside. I'm sorry, I said I can't see you tonight.
I'm going to flash my badge at him.
What's happening?
I'm here to do a wellness check on you. You had me worried. These are my associates.
He'll look at
Oh,
Nathan.
come off it, Agent. We got some business to do here.
Listen, I see that you're in a meeting with the chief. Do you mind if we have a meeting with him too? I know that you I don't know what's going on, but
Wait, you're a cop?
And she's gonna look back at Todd. Can you
Interpol, I'm Agent Steele. Look, we're here on very important business. Sorry she had to blow her cover with you and everything, but need to talk to the chief inspector, please.
He will look a little bit betrayed at you, Jessica, as you have been lying to him this whole time. And he will kind of just step out of the way and let you all enter his house. Of course, as you do enter, you will begin to hear a dog, a small beagle, begin to growl as you all enter.
fucking beagle?
He will kind of rush over. Hey, no. Sorry. He'll just pick up the beagle as it begins to growl in your direction, trying to get closer to you, and quickly kind of put it in the other room, shutting the door. And as you do, you see this man come into sight.
I would like to entrance him as soon as I see him.
Ooh, okay. This will be a roll-off because he does know what you are. What is it against?
My charisma presence versus his composure wits.
Composure, wits. Okay.
And I'm going to rouse.
I'm going to let. I'm gonna Todd taking the lead. I want to kind of pull.
That is
Tom.
a critical hit for 8.
Fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, even if I were to use willpower, I can't beat that.
No.
Does in the power, does it say that after you use, if you fail, they know that they have been tried to, they realize that you tried to use a power on them? Does it say that?
It just says that he's immune for the rest of the night.
Okay. In that case, you kind of look at him and you kind of begin to work your charms on him, but this person, you can tell that he is not a normal human. Not in the way that he is supernatural, but more mentally. He is different, like Ted Bundy different, like, Jack the Ripper different.
Jeez.
And his mind does not work as normal humans do. And even your charms that could, get movie stars to give over everything that they own to you, he just looks at you like you would a insect.
Chief Inspector, good to finally meet you. We've been wanting to have a talk.
Oh, yeah, I've heard a bit about you running around my town.
Well, yeah, we've been trying to meet with you for a very, very long time. You're a difficult man to get a hold of.
Well, I'm a busy man these nights. Just now I'm helping Tommy here try and find his sister.
Oh, I'm sure you're very helpful to a lot of people.
Jessica,
I'm
hang on
going
one
to start
second.
moving around the room.
Hold that. Jessica, did you say you wanted to grab Tommy while he
I
was
wanna-
talking?
Kind of pull him into either a room or outside, just so that way those three can take care of that, and I can take care of my problem.
Okay, you leaving the 3 pretty boys to handle the fight.
I see
So-
Nathan work. He's fine.
You know what? Yeah, Nathan is a bit of a demon, let's face it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nathan will have no problem just eating this man alive. I assure you, they'll be fine.
Okay. So you take him into the hallway. That's kind of like the landing where the front door opens, and you can move a little bit forward and then go into the living room, and you kind of take him into that hallway and just looks at you. So, you're a cop, I guess.
It's a bit more complicated than that. I wasn't lying when I told you I was a dancer.
So you're a cop dancer then?
I need you to work with me here a little bit. It's
Look, Jessica.
a
Honestly, right now, I'm hurt, but I can't think about it. I need to find my sister. Okay?
I'm here to help you find your sister.
Do you have kind of stops himself from saying something that he might regret, but then kind of rethinks it and then looks at you deep in the eyes? Do you have anything to do with this? What's happening?
No. No, it's. I met your sister a couple of nights ago. And,
He kind of chuckles in a sarcastic way while looking upwards toward the ceiling. Uh-huh.
has your sister seemed slightly out of it?
I guess you really have met her. Yeah, she's had a few mental issues the last, I don't know, year and a half now. I thought coming here with her would be good to get her away, but last night she called me up. She said she had a nosebleed and things had gotten worse with her. She was starting to see things. And look, I just need to find her, okay? Whatever this is, it can wait.
She's just gonna put her hands up. I ask because your sister going missing might be a key part of what we're trying to figure out, because our friend went missing too.
He will look scared for a second and then hurt. You just said that you had nothing to do with what...
No, I have nothing to do with your sister going missing. But it's a little bit... We need to have a long talk about this, because unless I give you full context, nothing will make sense. I would rather not do it in front of... And she's gonna like wave her hand in the general direction of everybody else. But it'll provide a little bit of context.
Make me a charisma persuasion.
And arouse. Because I have a feeling I'm gonna need all the help that I can get. Okay. Of course. That's fine. Build it all up when I eat the fucking cop. Okay.
I'm sorry, did you say eat the cop or eat the cop?
I'm gonna I'm gonna
did you
eat the
say?
cop.
Okay.
The guy. Jesus Christ.
I was very confused there for a second.
No. Cop. C-O-P.
That makes a lot more sense, thank you.
Yep. 4 successes.
4 successes. He will look kind of torn a little bit, like he wants to go and talk with the chief inspector and try and kind of organize something to try and find his sister. But at the same time, even though you've lied to him, even though you've kind of been involved with whatever is happening and may have some kind of connection to his sister, he can't help but to look in your eyes and still trust you. And he'll kind of just nod and... Do you want to... Jesus. Do you want to go outside? Is that it? Is that okay?
A place maybe a bit more secluded than outside. Like a room where we can close the door.
The attic. We can go up to the attic.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, let me just tell the inspector.
Yeah.
The rest of you see him walk into the room with Jessica behind. Chief, Michael, I'll be back in just a moment. I need to just have a talk with my friend. And you watch as the chief inspector looks at him. Now, Tommy, we don't really have time for that. If you want to find your sister, we need to move fast. And he will look again kind of torn.
Officer Mackle, with all due respect, we were also paid to help with this job, and this talk is going to give me a bit more insight to be able to help him better.
By the way, he looks at you, Jessica. Your boss. What's his name so I can and his number, just so I can call him and make sure, we're all on the same page. And he will give a short, very small little smile when he says this.
Friend's got his information, and then she's gonna turn around and walk away.
I think you know a little bit more than you're letting on, Inspector.
You're right. I do, Tommy, have some leads and some suspects in mind. And as you're kind of moving away, Jessica, as he says this, you see Tommy kind of just freeze in the door frame as he says suspects. Wait. You know who might have... Is this the... Who? And you watch as the inspector just kind of... Well, I can't confirm anything yet, Tommy. I was hoping you'd be able to help me, but it seems like you're a little bit more interested in talking with your friend. So perhaps we can pick this up another time. And he will place his hat on his head and begin to move to the door.
Motioning to Nathaniel and Dehern.
What are you
Yep.
motioning?
I don't think you're going anywhere, Chief Inspector. You see, we need to have a talk.
Really? Well, Todd, Nathaniel, and D, can you please make me wits awareness, please?
And Jess gonna start pulling Tommy away. Because
He is very interested in this conversation. You are going to literally have to drag him away if that's something
oh
you
yeah,
want to do.
yeah, no, she's gonna take him. Just remember what I said about context.
I am going to use
Todd?
willpower.
Ooh,
Ah,
I need Nathaniel and D.
Also, I'm gonna rouse for that.
Okay. You guys go for
Wow.
real fast.
Todd a little
Did
no
he-
thought head empty right now. That's right. Build up that hunger.
Yeah, you get hungry, Nathaniel.
Yeah, you get nice
Go-
and hungry.
Go ahead and frenzy.
I'm only at 2 hunger now with that, so it's fine.
And D, you got a 1. Okay. So, the rest of you, D and Todd, you're kind of looking at the chief inspector kind of in a little bit more aggressive way. Is that right, D? Would you be like kind of about ready to pounce?
Oh yeah.
And as you're kind of
yeah, and I moved around to his side.
as you're kind of looking at him and kind of eyeing him up, Nathaniel, you're a little bit more cautious, a little bit more wary, and by doing so, you notice the chief inspector put his arm around the back area, and where his what looks to be radio is, he seems to tap a button, a button on the back, a kind of almost like, not just like 1 2 3 4 5, but he goes like 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2 3, and he just does that on his radio. And you notice that.
Guys, let's not do anything too rash right now, I would say. And he sort of points out that the chief's kind of, pressing some buttons.
But you just point at him in the middle of the room.
I mean, not really pointing, just kind of like moving his head in the general direction.
Okay, then
Oh,
Nathaniel.
Chief Inspector. He's pointing to that, right?
He said he was just going to do a head nod, so I'm going to say both of you make a wits insight to see if you can understand what he's trying to get at. Both D and Nathaniel.
You mean D and Todd?
Yes, sorry. D and Todd. Unfortunately, you two are just too busy with wanting to end this and kind of get this over with and stop this clearly not right in the head human. What do you guys do? Keep that in mind, that you do not see this signal.
Hey D,
from
you might
Nathaniel.
want to willpower that roll, D.
Oh, okay.
That would be a bestial fail if you don't.
Oh, it
Oh,
would.
I
Uh-oh.
I mean, you don't have to. You can take the bestial fail, but I'm just saying.
What happened to the bestial fail, out of curiosity?
Bad things happen.
Bad things.
Also,
You
for
know
some
what?
reason, D, you sound like you're a million miles away right now.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, sorry about that. My mic was up. With everything that happened last night, all the trauma and everything,
Oh no.
and then now this happening,
Oh no.
I can see him breaking again.
Okay, so let's see what you
I'm
get.
going to take the bestial fail.
Okay, click on your token. Once clicked on your
Oh.
token, please click on the button at the top that says compulsion. Dominance.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Do I have Todd pulled away by now?
Hold on for one more second. So, D, as the beast rattles against the cage inside you, you kind of begin to lose yourself and you get the dominance compulsion, which basically means you have to be the one in charge, you have to be the warlord, you have to dominate everyone and everything. So just keep that in
Galatians
mind.
Adventure like.
Yeah. And at this point, he will begin to move towards the door. And
I'm just gonna growl, "You're going nowhere,"
Oh no.
and I'm going to yeah.
going to.
What the Hearn does best. Go forward. I'm going to put my hand up to my neck and grab one of my crystals that we discussed about earlier.
Yep. And as you do, you watch the kind of smile on his face turn into a toothy smile as he kind of quickly reaches in the back of his pocket, now knowing that it's over, and pulls out what looks to be a pistol and raises it to you, D.
I'm coming unflinchingly.
Okay. You may make the first attack if you wish to attack.
I would, yes.
Okay. Then with this, it will be a dexterity melee.
Wish me luck. Hey,
Oh,
Ooh.
okay. And now his dex athletics. Oh, wrong one. That is a 2. He will. Yeah. That is a 7.
Oh man.
I'll
Fuck
go
this
for
guy.
a 2 if I'm able to.
What's that?
If I could rouse as well, I would do it
It's
now.
too
Or if
late
it's too
to
late.
rouse. You can
That's fine.
willpower. You can
Willpower, then yes.
Okay. Hit the willpower.
You can only willpower one of those dice, so there's no point.
That's true.
Oh yeah. No. Oh wait. Yeah.
Plus,
No, the wrong
also,
person.
Oh, yeah.
if you use one more willpower, you are at -2 for everything.
Right. How does willpower work after you rest?
So you
gain back.
get, yeah. So your willpower is your composure and your resolve added together. At the start of a new day, you will get whichever one of those is higher back. So for you, it would be your resolve at 3, so you'd get 3 back.
Okay, so I used one already, so I'm at 1 right now.
Yep. So if you use one more, then you are at -2 for everything for the rest of the night.
Oh,
Wait,
if I use
wouldn't-
it now, it wouldn't work, right? Oh, go ahead.
What was his resolve at when he woke up today before all of
3.
this starts?
3.
No, I mean, like, what was his willpower at before he woke up?
Oh,
Because he
1.
would have.
Oh,
Okay, so before he woke up, he would have gotten 3 back, which would have put him
Yes.
at 4 willpower, and then he would have spent 1, so he still does have 3 willpower.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
So you get that whenever you sleep. So hang on, wait.
Yeah.
You should have 3 left, like that.
But Todd does make a point.
Yeah, it's
You
only
only
one
get the-
dice.
Reroll one die. It's not.
I
worth
mean,
it.
he could tie, which the tie would go to the aggressor.
True.
You can't tie.
Oh wait.
No.
Combat.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna let it go.
Okay. In that case, as you go in for the stab with the crystal, he will move to the side. And Nathaniel, as you're the one who's kind of looking and staying back and kind of watching how he moves and everything like that, as you saw him do the thing with the radio, you notice his movements are not normal, not even normal for police officers. He moves like people that you've seen in movies before. Like, you can probably, a smart guess would be, this guy's got some military training. At least Nathaniel realizes that. After that, he will kind of... Yep. Does someone speak?
Yeah, I'm just gonna shout to D, leave it alone. This is not worth it.
Okay. And he will take out the as I said, he took out the gun. He will then raise it towards D.
Can I try to disarm him?
Not yet, as this is all happening very fast all at once. And as D and him both kind of went at the same time. Let's see.
Could I possibly with rapid reflexes?
With rapid reflexes, yes. I would let you have that if you want to use it.
Yep.
Okay. What would you like to try and do?
I'm gonna try to knock the gun out of his hand.
Okay. In that case, make me a strength brawl check. And he will make the same.
Yay! Rousing.
He has 3 successes.
There's a outside chance this could work.
Unfortunately, it does not.
Nope.
As you go and try and knock the gun out of the hand, he will kind of move to the side and then point again at D and fire a shot.
Come on, D, you got this.
D, can you make me a athletics dexterity check? Oof. He'll willpower that. Another critical hit. That's 5.
D, you don't got this. I'm sorry.
In that case, I'm gonna willpower this one.
We'll
Or
make
you
the
can
roll
rouse.
first.
Yeah. You
Or
have
rouse.
to-
I'm sorry, rouse.
Rouse is to kind of up the dice before you roll. Willpower is to re-roll dice after you've rolled.
I'm sorry, everything's getting
Nope.
mixed up. I'm gonna rouse.
Don't forget
Okay.
to roll your rouse before you roll the thing, because if you get a hunger, it'll change your hunger dice,
Mhm.
affecting your will reroll.
That's another hunger. So you go up in hunger.
All right, and then I roll, right?
Well, you got to up your hunger first. So at the bottom, you should see hunger. Put that on 2 now.
Okay.
There you go. And now make the roll.
And you
Make
get
sure
a plus
for
2
modifier,
modifier.
yeah, make sure for modifier type in 2.
All right, and it's a legs and dex, right?
Yep.
Come on, you got this, D.
Ooh!
Hey!
Oh, that guy is on coke. Okay.
What do you roll?
You rolled a crit with 9
I
successes.
rolled 9 successes.
Wow, D just like flips over this guy Matrix style.
Yeah.
I am a
literally.
dancer after
Nah.
all.
I love it.
So,
So is Jess.
so as he pulls out the gun and fires, you watch as the bullet. D, you can't help but tap into that beast, and you watch as almost the world around you slows down, and this bullet is moving at a slower speed, and as it comes towards you, you kind of go into quite literally a Matrix kind of pull back, and you can actually see the bullet pass by you as you move aside from it at lightning speeds, tapping into maybe what possibly for a caitiff, maybe some celerity right there. But quickly after the moment passes, you kind of lose that connection.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Since I kind of like went backwards, can I like as I come forward do a punch at him?
Absolutely.
So that will be brawling, right?
Yep. Does anybody else want to do anything at this point now?
Go for the leg.
Can Nathaniel try to, since he doesn't have the strength probably to just get it out of his hand, normally stab his hand so that he might let it fall?
You may make a melee dexterity. And D, you make a... This would be a strength brawl.
That's right.
Wait, Nathaniel's trying to. Nathaniel's going against D?
Oh, sorry. D, you're... Wait. Who's it? Wait. Is Nathaniel attacking D?
No. The chief, just trying to get him to
Okay. So yeah.
lose the gun.
Nathaniel, you roll me a melee... I'm guessing you're using your knife, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a melee dexterity. And D, because you said you're punching him, it would be a strength brawl.
For rousing, I get 3 extra dice, right?
2 extra dice. And here he comes again, Nathaniel, with the... Even though he's not a fighter, he seems to be a Terminator.
Nathaniel, I don't fight. Combat. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. As it would seem,
Just-
Nathaniel, the Toreador, the goddamn artist, is a monster when it comes to fighting, apparently.
Jess,
He
you
just
might-
has a
you might have
specialty
some-
in knives.
You just
Jesus.
might have some competition.
It's really
Jess.
funny. It's really funny. Nathaniel and Jess are Toreador
Ooh.
and Bruja, but I think Jess would make a better Toreador at this point.
That's a messy
And-
critical too for Nathan.
Mhm.
Nathaniel would make a better Bruja. Hey, you want to
Ooh.
switch?
So, first off, D, as you go in for the punch, he will grab your fist with one arm and hold you there, holding the actual, like you back with one hand. But this gives an opportunity for Nathaniel to kind of roguishly come behind and to the side of the hand that he is holding the gun with and stab him right through, dropping the gun to the ground and screaming in pain. Arrgh! He'll look down at Nathaniel, and the eyes kind of just seem to be burning with rage at you.
Can I try to grab
And-
his handcuffs?
You can make me a. I'm gonna say. Do you have any dots in larceny?
No.
Because this is basically pickpocketing him right now.
Would he at least get a bonus because both of the cops' hands are a bit occupied
Yes,
right now?
that is true. I'd say maybe a dexterity larceny, but a +2 because quite literally both of his hands are being restrained right now.
And you're
I
off to
heard
the
make
side
me-
so he doesn't.
And then I didn't hear anything
Oh.
after that.
Make me a dexterity larceny, but add a +2 to that because both of his arms are being restrained right now. A 3. Let's see. I'm going to give him a -2 to this. Two.
Come on, Todd.
Come on, Todd.
That is a 3. The tie goes to the player. You grab his handcuffs out of the side of his belt, and you have them. Jessica, what are you doing?
I'm dragging Tom to safety
Okay.
up to
As-
the attic.
As this is all going down, and your friends are quite literally attacking and maybe even trying to kill someone he has known for a while now in this town, you are going to have to forcibly do this. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
In that case, he is going to fight back, as he has only known you for 2 days, and he has learned that you have been lying to him, and now your friends are quite literally trying to kill a police officer. So, roll me a strength brawl.
Okay.
Hasn't she been trying to pull him away? This.
Yeah, I've
From the
been pulling him
start?
away
Yes.
since they started that conversation. So,
Yeah, she's been
How-
trying
how
to pull
f-
before the fight ever started.
cause
Yeah, I'm
I've
just
been.
Just do it now, and I'll say that you did this when the fight first started.
All right. Can I add? I almost asked if I could add potence.
If you want to activate a potence power, you can. You might break a finger of his, but
Fucking. She's gonna take him and soaring leap like.
okay. So you're going through the ceiling.
We're going for the set of
Oh.
stairs.
Okay. So
Fuck.
so make me a strength roll.
Okay.
He actually rolled a 3.
Alright, I'm gonna rouse too. Oh boy. That's fine. This is fine. Strength brawl. I'm gonna get a +3. I'm gonna spend a willpower to reroll that 2.
Okay. Nope. Okay. So, instead of you clicking on the compulsion at this point, I'm going to say you grab him in the kind of burst of, I need to get him out of here, he's important. And you kind of grab him around the stomach and chest area, and you soaring leap right up these stairs. But as you do, you kind of hear a snapping noise as you kind of leap up the stairs, and once you land, you quickly realize that you most likely just broke a few of his ribs,
Oh,
and he will just go down to
I'm
the
sorry.
floor. Ah!
I'm sorry. I'm
Did
I'm
you
sorry. I'm
do-
sorry. I'm sorry. No, come here. I need you to come with me right now. This is going to get ugly very quickly.
Ah!
very quickly, and she'll just run back down and grab his arm and start like again, just like almost begging him to come up the stairs.
He is unable to fight back as every movement is torture for him now.
All right, she's gonna throw him over her shoulder and bring him up to the attic.
And as you do, he will scream in pain.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, and you get him up to the attic with a few broken bones.
A couple broken bones is fine compared to God knows what would happen.
What do you say to him as he is literally holding his rib cage?
Okay. Listen. I'm gonna be completely and quite frankly honest with you. We think that this cop has something to do with our friend missing, and that might in turn have something to do with your sister missing. I don't have time to be all cutesy about this. I need you to look at me, and when she's gonna take him by the cheeks, and her fangs are gonna pop out.
Okay. Now, as you do this, it does kind of run through your head, Jessica, that what you're doing right now is a breach of the masquerade.
Oh, I fully intend on ghouling this motherfucker. It's
Okay.
fine.
He will look as the teeth kind of extract from your mouth and kind of elongate. And you'll watch him as he's kind of holding his ribs. Seeing this, the pain kind of subsides a little. And he will freeze. He begins to breathe heavily.
Don't worry, I don't want to hurt you. But remember how I told you that there's a little bit of context that might go into this? This is that context. I'm afraid that your little cop friend down there might have kidnapped my friend, who is also one of me. And I'm afraid he might have also kidnapped your sister.
He will take a second, hearing the fighting going on downstairs.
Ah!
And
My friends are trying to protect you.
as you say that, he will say something that probably hurts Jess quite a lot. He will just look at you in the eyes and just say, "But you're monsters."
Well, right now, we're not the monsters in this situation, darling. Even those who are... There are some people in this world who are more monstrous than any of us. And I have a feeling that it's your little friend Michael downstairs.
He will look up to you again, this time with some tears welling in his eyes. And he'll just say very softly, I'll do whatever you want, Jessica. Just, if I do it, can I have my sister back?
I'm gonna try to get her back for you. But I need you to do something. And she's gonna bite into her wrist. I need you to drink.
He will look scared for a second and then look up to the ceiling like he can't believe that this is all happening.
You'll
And
heal
then-
faster. You'll get a really cool little power of mine. But this is
Right.
to protect you and to protect me.
Will that... I've seen fucking movies. Will that turn me into...
No, no, no. This is what we call ghouling someone. What will happen is you drink this, you'll stop aging for a little bit. You'll heal faster. You'll feel better. You'll get a little bit of my power, but you will not have to worry about burning in the sun. You won't have to worry about getting paralyzed with the stake. You won't have to worry about any of that stuff. I need you to trust me, though. And I know that's asking for a lot right now, but I need you to trust me.
He will look at you as you're saying this and then look down at your wrist. Jessica, I need you to roll the best charisma or manipulation plus persuasion that you can roll.
Can I add my looks merit to it?
I'm gonna allow it because he still has feelings for you.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you can do to make this a success.
Rouse.
Suggest doing it. You only get one chance with this.
Your inner Nate needs to come out. Let your inner Ventru come out.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm also gonna activate awe. I have no idea if this is gonna work.
It should add presence.
I'm taking all of the dice that I can get right now for this.
I will allow it.
Thank you. Alright, so 2, 4, 6 plus persuasion and charisma plus 6. And can I willpower some of those dice?
If you have willpower left, you can.
I do. I'm gonna
Come
reroll
on,
those
Jess.
3 3s. Nope.
Oh!
Four successes.
Okay.
Will he critical fail?
I need to make a roll for him, as this is a decision that will change his life forever.
Oh, asterisk. Oh my god, please, 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 no.
So I'm gonna make him roll a. I'm gonna make him roll a. Intelligence resolve.
Come on, Jess.
Hope
Did
to
your
God that he
intervention
doesn't
I'm
crit.
Fair
hoping
enough.
that this guy's literally as smart as I am. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, he's a jock, but...
He's a teacher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Whew.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh.
But does he willpower? No, I'm not gonna do
No.
that.
I think his will's broken too much at this point. His sister's kidnapped. He just witnessed people trying to kill a cop in his town
Mhm.
and the boss of his sister. And on top of that, he just found out Jess is lying to him and a vampire.
And justice is grace.
Yeah. He has had a day. And he will look up at Jessica, kind of listening to her words and looking at her eyes, trying to read her. And something about you, Jessica, he just trusts, and he can't help but slowly grab your arm and move it closely to his mouth. He'll look once more at you and then say, just help her. And he bites down on your arm, and you begin to feel the blood rushing into him. Unfortunately, Jessica, this means you go up in hunger 1.
I'm at 500 hunger.
Yes, you are.
Oh shit.
And as he begins to drink, you feel the beast inside wanting to rip off his head and drink every drop. Now,
Crazy.
you are very lucky, as there is no blood in any where you are. The bones that you broke are on the inside. He is not bleeding. There is nothing to trigger your frenzy right now.
Okay.
But he is smelling very good. And everything about you is telling you to feed. Please keep that in mind. The second that you come across even the smell of blood, Jessica is going to unleash. Meanwhile, hang on. Meanwhile, back downstairs, you have just taken the cuffs of him, Todd. What are you doing?
Yeah, try to put the cuffs on him.
Okay. In that case, make me a...
I'll wait for an opportune time. I'm not going to try and, like, overpower him all by myself.
Okay.
Do I see this going on or no?
Make me wits awareness.
Okay.
I mean, I am not trying to hide it.
Todd slapped him in the face. Those are mine now.
You see it. You see him do this.
In that case, since I am a dancer, I'm going to try to do something a little bit weird. He has his... Are we like holding hands, quote unquote? Or is he holding my fist?
The scene right now... In fact, let me move them over here. The scene right now is... Nathaniel is with his... is right now kind of piercing the side of the hand that held the gun with the knife, and is kind of digging into the flesh. He is actually holding your fist, stopping it from impacting his face. So that's kind of the situation, while Todd has just come around and grabbed the handcuffs.
Okay, in that instance, is there any way that I could do like a forward like somersault over him and try to bring his hand behind him with my hand, since he can't get on?
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Get the cuff on him.
Make me a dexterity athletics to see if you can do a somersault behind him and kind of put his arm behind his back and try and,
Since I'm supposed to
restrain
with
him.
dancing, would that help me?
I'm gonna allow
Since
it.
I've done unique
Yeah.
moves I did before.
With your backstory and, the dancing and all the kind of acrobatics and stuff, I'd say yeah.
So that'd be a +2, or how does that? How would
That's
I?
a +1. That's a +1.
Okay. Thank you.
Somersault.
Hey.
Shoulder.
Okay, as you do so, let's see if he has the strength to resist. He does not. As you kind of do a cartwheel, almost somersault over him, and on the back you will kind of twist his arm into the back of, like, in the mid-back section, and you will almost hear his arm beginning to pop out of place, and he will just begin to scream, "Ugh! Get off me, you leech!" What do you do?
Oh shit.
In fact, he will now, with the arm that is being stabbed, will try and pull off the knife and go for a punch into Nathaniel.
Get the cuff on him. Or get it on him.
Nathaniel, roll me a dexterity athletics.
If that doesn't work, I don't know.
He tries to punch you in the face, Nathaniel, but the incredible warrior that you weirdly are, you kind of dodge out the way, letting him hit like the side of the wall. Anyone want to do anything? Oh, also, Nathaniel, you did 1, 2. You did, while you stabbed him, you did a free superficial to him.
Nice.
I'll try to slap the cups on him.
Okay.
Can I take his other arm too, or no? After he did the punch?
I'd say Nathaniel could try, as he's the closest.
Okay.
Would you want to try, Nathaniel?
Sure.
Okay, strength roll.
Can I assist or no? That's just Nathaniel thing.
I'm going to say yes, because you are quite literally all pouncing on him. You can add a +2 to this, Nathaniel. A 3. Or 2. Okay. I'd say with that, you do manage to move his arm near the back area. Now, Todd, I'll let you roll a... Which is better, your dexterity or your strength?
Dexterity.
I'll let you roll a dexterity brawl and add a +2 to this.
Okay, I'm gonna rouse.
Okay.
Nah.
Hunger, hunger. Ooh. Okay. And let's just see.
Todd go burr.
Okay. And in a flash, as Nathaniel grabs one arm, pulls it to the back, D grabs the other, pulls it to the back, you go in between both of them, grab both of his wrists, and then clamp down the metal on both sides, tying his hands and restraining him. What do?
Since nobody noticed the device, other than Nathaniel would like, because he kind of has no idea what he did. He's just gonna take it and try to break it in case anyone's listening in with it.
Okay, you break it. Easy enough. It shatters against the ground, and he will begin to laugh.
What's so funny, fucker?
He'll just keep laughing.
Fuck this. I bite him.
You bite him. And as you do, he will continue to laugh. And it does not stop. How much do you take?
Oh no.
Todd, how much do you take?
I'm gonna drink 2 from him.
Okay, you take 2.
And I'm gonna leave
Jessica.
him with a lingering kiss.
Upstairs, could you please make me a... Make me a... What would this be? I guess just wits awareness.
Okay.
And hope you roll low. 22. You do not smell the blood coming from downstairs. What are you doing after now he has fed on you? And he kind of, after actually feeding on you, he kind of looks a little bit, almost like he's just taken some kind of drug. And he kind of shakes to one side and stumbles a little bit while his eyes are closed.
Oh. I'm
And
gonna
then-
let you ride that ecstasy out for a minute, and I'm gonna be right back. I've got a snack downstairs.
Okay. You leave him
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of speechless and almost like he is having a volcano run through his head with the power of your blood.
Uh-huh.
Halfway down the stairs,
Oh,
you
yeah.
smell it.
Oh, I do.
Please make me a frenzy roll. Difficulty 3.
Oopsies, no modifiers. Difficulty. Oh, perfect.
And there it
I'm
is.
hungry, and I'm going to, with my celerity, bolt down the stairs. Nothing else matters. I'm going right for that fucking cop.
Okay. Now, Todd, after you've taken your feeding and kind of moved back after just using your kiss on him and using your power to kind of gain control of him, behind him, in a blur of lightning, you watch as a kind of blur of red streaks by, and in a second, you just watch as not a bite, not a normal kindred bite, not like two fangs entering, but you watch as almost an inch of normal teeth and fangs go into the flesh, and you just watch as the flesh begins to get ripped out and mutilated at the side, as this is a frenzy feeding, and he begins to bleed heavily from the mouth and just begins to gurgle as his throat is right now drowning in blood.
Jessica, we need him alive! He knows where Brandon is!
I don't care.
Jessica, you feed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you feed until you're well. That's the thing. Todd already
Yep.
took 2. So,
Yep.
you're going to at least take 3, and that is everything. So,
Yep.
as you take his last drop, Jessica,
Yep.
as you take his soul, congratulations. You are at 0 hunger. As he goes still in her arms,
Ah,
And-
fucker deserved it.
begins to gurgle with the blood, and then goes pale and drops to the ground.
Ah, fucker deserved it.
I think I need to roll against a frenzy.
Okay, if that's what you believe, then please do. This would be an anger frenzy, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a difficulty of 1. Oh, no, because, yeah, you're not Bruja, so yeah, difficulty of 1. So you do succeed.
Ah! Fuck!
I just start kicking furniture.
What is Nathaniel ND doing right now?
Well, I would
Guys-
assume.
Sorry, go on.
I would assume I'm like bathed in blood right now, because of
Oh,
the
yeah.
the feeding, right?
Oh, yeah. You
Oh,
all
I just
kind of,
looked at Jess.
you're all kind of scattered with a bit of blood at this massive feeding that's just happened.
Like, well, thanks for that, Jess. Kind of take a step back, let him drop to the floor.
Ah.
Guys, not to cut your moments short, I think we might not have to leave before he attacked us. He did something on the device I smashed, and I'm not sure he might have called for backup.
Fuck. Jessica, grab him. We can't just leave
Oi.
this body.
One of you gotta go upstairs and grab Tom. I can't leave
I
him
got
here.
him.
Hey, Tom!
His ribs
Yeah.
are broken. He's riding a bit of an ecstasy right now. I'll explain when we get back to the inn. Just
Don't worry, I got him. Don't worry. Go on.
Ah.
I'll
I'm
go
gonna
upstairs to
help
get Tom.
T.
Okay. When you get upstairs, you see
Nathaniel,
Tom.
stay with Jess.
I'll do that.
You see Tom kind of holding his side of his ribs, but Jessica said that his ribs were broken, and obviously you know how much pain someone would be in, and they wouldn't be able to stand properly. But he seems to be standing perfectly straight, and yes, he's holding his side, but it doesn't look like he's, in that much pain. And make me DA intelligence wits.
Oh, not bad.
You probably deep down know what she did. And the fact that she said his ribs were broken, but he already looks like he's, well, not that hurt compared to what someone with broken ribs should be acting. In the back of your mind, you can probably think, oh shit, she's gone and done it.
At this time, I don't care, because I know who this means to her.
Mhm.
So I don't think anything of it.
What do you say to him?
Nothing. I just act like he's should be hurt. You know what I mean? Like, hey, are you okay? We're here to help you get out of here.
He will take a step back from you, looking at you, almost like someone looking at, well, a freak or something strange. And he'll just
I'm gonna
nod.
use awe
On who?
on. Well, I mean, it's awe.
So
It's
everyone.
not a target.
Okay.
But I'm gonna look at Tom and I'm gonna say, Tom, we're friends of Jessica. You need to come with us.
Yeah. Jessica's she's still here.
She's downstairs.
She's still here, but not for long. We're leaving. We need to leave together. Come on. I don't have time to talk about this.
Just take me to her. And he'll begin to limp kind of with you.
I let him put an arm over my shoulder to help him.
And he will. Okay. You get downstairs. By the way, Nathaniel and Jessica, where did you guys go?
We gotta go dump the body somewhere. You broke the device, right?
Yes, I did, but
All right.
I don't know if it did anything.
That's fine. That's fine. Is there a back door?
There is. You know that's where his beagle is right now. that door.
Yes, his little shit dog. All right.
Nathaniel has won an animal kin, so you wouldn't like go towards him, right? So Nathaniel could theoretically just.
With just a 1, you'd get a roll to see if you could keep the dog calm and not scare it. If you had more dots in it, it would be kind of like the dog wouldn't mind you.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna roll for that. Don't want to cause any more.
Okay, make a charisma animal kin. As the door kind of opens, you will see the dog begin to growl at Jessica. "Arr, arr," and then you kind of get close and it'll begin to growl at you, and then and Jessica, you see this. You watch as Nathaniel's eyes kind of fixate on the dog's eyes, and the dog seems to it looks like it's about to try and bite him, but then they just stare at each other, and the longer Nathaniel stares at this dog, you watch it get calmer and calmer and calmer until you just watch this dog that was incredibly aggressive go from that to and just begin to kind of nuzzle up to Nathaniel.
Makes me miss having a dog. Well, I'm gonna go dump the dead body somewhere, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Ask Tom real quick to grab a couple changes of clothes, because I have a feeling at least a couple of us are messy, and I'll look for some towels to grab before we leave. But I'm
Easy
not
enough to do.
spending a serious amount of time on this.
Yep, it's easy enough to do. He grabs some random clothes. You grab some towels from the bathroom, and you have them. But Nathaniel and Jessica, as you kind of make your way into the back garden, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you do there?
Are we anywhere near a body of water?
No, not where you are now.
Okay. Anywhere near forest or anything? Anything that I can kind of go deep in, not super deep into, but hide.
There is a forest, but do you want to go into the forest?
Not super deep. I might just end up looking for a shovel and digging this man a shallow grave.
Okay. There is a shed in the back garden.
Okay.
Inside, you do find tools and a shovel and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this man into fertilizer. I'm gonna dig a roughly 5-foot-ish hole. Throw him in there.
Okay.
And then
That's a deep hole.
Yeah.
It's a pretty deep hole, yeah.
In your boyfriend's backyard?
Ah, fuck yeah. I don't know what to do with his body.
Where the
Damn,
backup will show up.
Why did
If
you
he
have to
did call
say
for
that,
backup.
D? I was about to laugh my head off.
Fuck.
Let's
I don't
just
know what
dump
to
him
do with this.
somewhere.
Yeah. Dump him in a dumpster or something.
Make
Could I-
it look like an animal attack.
Could
I mean, it kind of already
please-
does.
I mean, yeah, it looks like he
Yeah.
just got bitten to the neck by a beast, so.
Maybe we
And
could say
the
the
amount
dog
of
did
blood
it.
in the house.
It's the dog. We leave the dog in there.
Yeah,
The
we say
dog
that the
did it.
dog did it.
Kill the beagle. But Jess, could you please make me 2 different rolls? 1,
Oh, sure.
a wits investigation. 2, a intelligence occult.
Fuck. Should have had fucking nature's tale. So what's an investigation you said?
Yep.
Can arouse. Huh. Yeah, well, that lasted. Okay.
You guys go through blood so fast.
Because you have me roll all of the rolls that I'm bad at rolling.
I
Your
mean,
character
to
shouldn't have
be
been born that
fair-
way.
Maybe you should.
Me.
Maybe
Well,
you
I'm
should have
sorry.
stayed and fought. I could have dealt with your boyfriend.
Well, a little too late for that now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jessica
too late
walks
for
in the
now.
other room and her boyfriend is instead sucking on his wrist. I'm sure she would have taken that well.
Yeah, I'm sure she would have
that's-
loved that
Let's
too.
say 2. You notice one thing with a 2.
Uh huh.
You notice that the bottom of his shoes are covered in a very orange, yellowy looking dirt, which doesn't match any dirt, normal dirt. It's got a kind of yellowy orange tint to it.
Huh. And then you said occult and intelligence.
Yep.
Gonna have to rouse for that one too. Jesus Christ. Oh, thank God. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Muhahaha.
Ah, ha, 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 ha. Don't worry, guys. Eventually, you'll get 2 dots in intelligence, and I won't. One success.
1. Okay, never mind. Okay, so what do you do next?
If I see that yellowy dirt, I'm gonna actually like turn back and call for Nathan.
Okay. Nathan, you hear her calling you.
He goes to Jessica and's like, yeah.
You know anything about this?
You're pointing to the yellow substance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like dirt. From your back, sir, I don't think you would be a professional dirt master.
No.
Would he have
Uh,
an opportunity to look at the other stuff though? Like notice the other things if he's looking at the body?
Make me a wits investigation.
How about you ask the local? Point at Tom.
You say that to Tom?
I'm pointing at Tom when I say that.
Okay.
As he does that, Jessica, you see Tom for the first time now looking, and it kind of surprised you, looking a lot healthier and able to stand on his own.
Drops the body.
Yeah.
And yeah, she drops the body and she just goes to hug him.
As you go to hug him, he will flinch, almost like one of those people that's in a bad relationship and one of them being beaten, and if they raise a hand they kind of flinch, like that type of flinch. But he'll quickly kind of gather himself and allow you, and also kind of go into the hug.
I'm so sorry.
Did you do that?
Sometimes we turn into the monsters that we don't want to be.
He will just look at the ground when you say that. And then he'll look over at Todd and say, "Could this help find my sister?"
You can tell us where that dirt came from. She's probably in the same place where our friend is.
He will break away from you, Jessica, and go over to the body and look at the shoes. And okay. With a 4, he will look closely at it and say, This is underdirt. It's you know, when you dig really far down, you'll get this stuff. Also, it looks like some dust as well. I mean,
There's a dig site somewhere nearby. Heard somebody else talking about it. Do you have any idea where that might be? You know of anybody who might have been involved?
dig site. I mean, you're talking about dig. Was that the group of archaeologists that came in town a while back?
Yes.
I think they set up somewhere near the castle.
Castle's where we gotta go then.
All right. Hang on. He'll turn around and go into the back where the kitchen is, and he'll then come back out, this time holding a knife. All right, let's go.
All right. I'm ready to follow him. I have no idea where this castle is.
Yeah. We gotta find a place to. She'll point to the dead body.
Hey, you
He'll
got like a
just-
cricket bat or something?
I've got a baseball bat that we use at the school. I've got them here.
Yeah, that'll do. Jessica, can you break that in half?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Never know when you might need a steak.
He will
Very true.
kind of flinch at that when you say that. Like, the word and the meaning behind it kind of shakes him a little bit. But looking at you, Jessica, as you say we need to get rid of the body, he honestly says this with all, like, he does not care. And he will just look at you and just say, just leave it. If my sister's out there, I need to find her. You promised me, Jess.
Promised you, yes.
There's probably too much blood in the living room to cover it up anyway.
We can work this out later. I'll tell the police that he broke in and then he looked at his neck. I don't know.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We gotta go.
Okay. He will begin to move to the front door towards his car. What are the rest of you doing?
I don't think it's a good idea to just leave him here. I'd rather dump him somewhere.
Well, then, where do you expect us to dump him?
Just wrap him in a
It's gotta be
bag
in a
and
place.
dump him somewhere along the way.
Fine.
Maybe near this castle. Maybe there's a ditch or something where nobody goes.
Yeah. That should be fine.
We still can't hide the blood in his house, though. How are you going to explain that?
Blood is a lot easier to explain than a body that has been
And-
dried of all its blood.
Yeah.
Fair enough. In that case, I'm gonna go to the body, and I'm gonna get his gun, and I'm gonna look to Jess. I think this is gonna do a little bit better than a knife. What do you think?
I think
Actually,
so.
I actually know how to use a handgun, and I'm not really good at anything else.
All
Do you
right,
mind
you
if I
take the
hold
gun.
on to that?
Take it.
Because
Take
I'm
it.
not
Take
going
it.
to be any good with these stakes.
Oh, then give me the steak, because I'm good at steak.
Todd never even took the stakes. He just asked Jessica to break them in half.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna just steak goes in.
All right, calm down there, Buffy Vampire Slayer.
Vampire. No.
All right, let's go to the castle, and I will try to keep a lookout for some place that we might be able to ditch him. Can we toss him in like the trunk in the meantime?
You
I
can.
would also like to strip him of any identifiers. So like if he has like a badge with his name on it, any IDs, stuff like that.
He's the fucking chief inspector. They're gonna figure
His
out who he is.
face.
Yeah. I'm gonna rip
Roll
off
for-
his skin.
It's more important we find Brandon and his sister.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck it. Fuck it. Let's just go.
Okay. So you do not peel off the face.
Not this time, I don't.
I'm not gonna lie. If you did, it would be real hard for Tommy to ever look at you the same way again.
Yeah.
But you all begin to pile into the car. Who would be the last two people to enter the car?
I think me.
Me too, probably.
Okay. Could you two please make me wits awareness?
I'll let Jess roll. Go ahead.
Well, he said specifically for the last two people getting in the car, and you claimed you were the one of the last two.
Okay, I wanted to stop Jess for a second, but yeah, that's fine.
Oh, if you're gonna stop Jess, then Jessica too. Then, if you wanted a word with her, the both of you will as well.
Yeah,
Nathaniel, you
that's
go
okay.
too?
I'm fine.
Sure.
Two and a two. Okay. Both of you hear some movement in what you know the building, this house is maybe, maybe 20 to 30 feet away from the beginnings of a hill that goes up to where the forest starts. But there are some nearby bushes and of people's backyards and their front yards, and you can't help but to hear some rustling beginning to start. And you then begin to hear what seem to be moans and almost like cracking noises as you begin to hear this. What do you do?
Fuck that. Where's the body?
The body's in the trunk, and you can hear those noises coming from the bushes maybe around 25 feet away from you.
Our talking wait, and she's getting in the car.
Where the rest, sorry, what is Nathaniel doing?
Yeah, he's also just going in the car.
Nope.
Okay,
I'm driving.
that is probably a good idea. Because as you enter, Jessica, you notice something very strange. You look over at Tommy, and for some reason, he is very pale and he is shaking, and it looks like he's like a deer in headlights, frozen for some reason. Like something is affecting him very badly right now.
What's wrong? What's wrong? Are you okay?
He looks over at you as the car begins to move, and he just says, I don't know. Make a intelligence occult.
Oh my god. Alright.
The downsides of being the fighter.
Somebody else want to make this roll? else? Literally anybody else?
You can
I
point
didn't
it out
hear it.
to,
I'm not talking to him. I'm driving the car.
You can point it out to one person and one person only, as they are all quite busy right now.
Oh, fuck.
Or you can roll it yourself.
Fuck. Fuck it. I'll rouse. Thank God. Oh man. Fucking 2 successes. Thank God.
Okay. Now, you have heard about werewolves, obviously Kindred telling stories about them. And you've heard one story that when one of these werewolves transforms and a mortal knows their presence is there, sees them, hears them, there is something in the DNA of humans that when they know a werewolf, or not even that they know, but when they are close to a werewolf, somehow, some way, it affects them to the point where it turns them quite literally into mush. It wrecks their psyche. They turn into bubbling, well, just looking at him now, he is shaking heavily, unable to move. All the color of his blood has seemingly just drained from him. And you can't help but remember this story that just being in the presence of a werewolf or a mortal is like seeing your death. And it's something
Yep.
in the DNA of humans.
Todd, drive as
What?
fast as you can.
Yeah, I've been doing that.
Okay. Please, Todd, as you're the one driving, make me a dexterity drive.
Oh my God.
Rousing for that.
We like to tempt. We really like to play the game of God sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's driving, Jess is just gonna kind of like wrap him up in her arms and just kind of like try to like keep him calm.
Okay.
I'm re-rolling the 5, 4, and 1.
Okay. All
It's
right.
5.
There you go. You take off, and as you do, as you're kind of focusing on him, Jessica, you really haul ass out of here, and you can't all help but to hear what sounds like nails on a chalkboard, except it's more like on metal. And as you speed off, the car itself kind of nudges to one side, like the whole thing shakes, like something just hit it. And looking down at the side, D, you see this. You see 3 massive rip marks going straight through the metal on your side of the car. You look behind you and you see a shadowy figure kind of dart out of the street and into some bushes as you speed away. Luckily, just fast enough not to get into something much deadlier. You needed a 4 successes. Congratulations.
Well, we just had some dogs, huh?
We cannot get to that castle fast enough and get out of this fucking town.
A very important question. Did anyone take the beagle?
No.
No.
Oh no.
Well,
Oh well.
Beagle saw everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Beagle knew too much. He had to go.
The beagle is now sleeping with the fishes.
It's a werebeagle.
Oh my god. The werebeagle.
It's a werebeagle, and the werebeagle is the leader of the wolves in this area.
Oh
my
no.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, as far as we know, the beagle might be kinfolk.
True.
The beagle's actually just a gangrel.
So, you race off, and after maybe 2 minutes of racing off, you see the color begin to re-emerge in his skin, and he begins to stop shaking. What the fuck was that?
That was you witnessing a werewolf presence. You see, you as a human are a bit more susceptible to the supernatural influence of a werewolf than we are. Your brain probably felt a little bit weird. You probably felt like you were on the verge of death.
It's like... It's like teeth were wrapped around my throat, and I don't know why, I just couldn't move or think.
You're safe now.
He kind of looks at
Pro-
you with a sadness in his eyes, as you can clearly see he does not believe that for a second.
You're safer.
He'll look towards Todd, and he will begin to give you directions towards the castle. Now, does anyone want to do anything before going there?
I actually have a question with my backstory and hitting something, the car hitting something before that would I have to roll a fear frenzy?
Ooh, that is a very good call. I'll say it is up to you, as it is your character. Do you think this would trigger him?
I think so, especially with since they're just speeding off right now.
Oh yeah, you begin to get flashbacks of that night. Could you please make me a frenzy check? And this is a difficulty 1, I believe. Okay, Nathaniel, yet again rolling very high. You get the flashes of the car, of the ripped metal, of the broken windshield, of the blood and the pain. And for a second, your beast kind of feels like it just wants to rip itself out of this car and just go tearing into the night. But you know that one of your coterie members is in danger. You know that this is an important mission, and you manage to quell the beast and keep control for now.
Did I miss something?
Nope.
Okay.
So, again, anything any of you want to do before going to the castle?
I think we're also just kind of keeping an eye out for like a place to throw the chief.
Make me, whoever is deciding to look for a place to dump the chief, make me a wits awareness.
That would not be me. My attention's focused elsewhere right now.
Okay. Does anybody want to make that
I'm
roll?
probably driving and focusing on the road. I mean, I could probably do it, but
If
Nathaniel or Dahurin would be a better choice.
D and Nathaniel, do you want to make that roll?
Yeah, no, Nathaniel's also not paying attention right now.
Okay, so it's up to D, and you rolled a 2. With a 2, you would see going by, it isn't the most, secluded place, but you do see this place. It is by a river. It is not very deep, the river, but in one section you could probably put a body and it would sink just underneath the water. You're not sure if it's a good idea, but you do find a river. If you want to.
Hey. Yeah, I'd let them know, like, hey, there's a river over here if you want to, you know.
Hey, Tom, you know where that river goes?
Yeah, it goes to the reservoir.
The reservoir in town or away from town?
Like a mile out of town.
We're not planning to stay long, so this might be as good a place as any to dump him.
Yeah.
I don't hear anybody saying no. I'm gonna pull over.
Okay. Jessica, would you like to shot put this copper?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Yeah, you don't even
I'm
really
looking
have.
out the car too.
Okay. You don't really have to make a roll for it. You can, with your strength and looking around, no one's around, you kind of just tear him out of the back and you lob him, hitting the side of the wall where the water meets and then skidding down into the river.
Au revoir. Or whatever.
I get back in the car.
Yep.
Don't have time to mourn the dead right now. Besides,
Eh.
he was an asshole.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Do you all take off back to where the castle is?
That's the idea. Starting
Okay.
the car back up, going.
You can't help but notice as you're driving through town a few unfamiliar faces to you. And all of them you're noticing through town look kind of similar, not in the features, but what they're wearing. Kind of open jacket, leathered, jackets, and like no t-shirts underneath. Kind of lots of the males having like longish beards. A lot of the women kind of looking a little bit more feral. And you're getting the idea that the pack is moving in the town.
I hand my phone to anybody who is willing to grab it and pay attention, and I say, text Zindi and tell her to get out of town and book a flight out of London.
Will do.
Okay.
And she'll take us home.
You carry on driving, and every now and then you hear what seems like a howl in the distance, in greater and greater numbers, as it seems to be building. But eventually, as you make your way out of the center of the town, up a large hill, and maybe over some moors, long fields, you eventually see on top of a even smaller hill what looks to be this place. You see a beautiful, very old castle, lit up by golden
No,
light.
don't say it's beautiful.
It's very beautiful.
Uh-oh.
Lit up by golden lights. And I'm
Uh-oh.
gonna need for the Toreadors in this coterie to make me a roll.
All right, Todd and Nathaniel. No need to look at the pretty shinies.
Willpower, right?
Yep. You see
Oh,
the
boy.
incredible Gothic architecture all around. You see the beautiful stained windows. This is truly a work of medieval art. And Todd. Okay. But even though it is an incredible piece of art, as you drive up, bathed in golden light, you know that your friend's in there. You know that your mission's in there. And you carry on, averting your eyes, moving up into the parking lot, where it is mostly empty except for 3 cars that are still there. And it looks like there are some lights on the inside. What do you do?
Anybody good at boosting cars? I'm just thinking maybe we should see if we can figure out anything about who's here, because we don't know how many of them there are.
That's true.
I know a thing or two about.
You do know about cars.
Like breaking into them?
About everything about them.
Yep. I know
Make-
cards. Just say that.
Make me a wits drive plus your specialty. And your specialty gives you a +1. Ooh. Okay. You know exactly what you need to do to boost these cars, how to get in them without setting off the alarms, how to hotwire them, and especially in 2002, get them so you don't need the key to activate them. What do you do?
I'll do exactly what he wants me to do with them. Just let me know.
I would think break them into them, see if we can find any personal effects that might help us see what we're up against, and possible disable them so they can't get away.
Okay. As you
And do exactly that for him. Also, do them so they're easily able to be turned on if we need to get away.
Yeah, you could do that. You could turn them on and open them, especially without setting off any alarms, especially with that roll. But on the inside, D, you do see a number of things. You see a bunch of that same dirt that you saw on the police officer's boot. You also see what looks to be hidden in the glove compartment, what looks to be a handmade stake, which definitely tips you off. But other than that, there is nothing that stands out to be unusual in the other cars. You find that they all have that dirt, but only one of them has a stake in it. What do you do?
Hand the stake to whoever doesn't have one yet.
D, would you like a stake? D. Yeah, go ahead.
Will my crystals do, or would I need a stake proper?
Honestly, do you think your character would be better, like more comfortable with the crystals?
Yes, that's kind of like his thing. You know what I mean?
Yep. In that case, Jessica or Nathaniel, you can have a stake if you want.
Yes, please. Oh, I already have my makeshift one.
Well, Jessica, I think, has two.
Knives, yeah.
I
The
have 2
ghoul
knives.
and 2 stakes because you broke that in half.
Yeah.
And then Nathan's got the silver knife. Todd's got the gun, and what's his face? The ghoul has a kitchen knife.
Well, this stake is a liability then, so I am going to hand it to Jessica and say, throw that as far away from here as you can.
And she'll do just that.
Okay,
Ye-
you throw it, and with your strength, it is not like you are throwing it and it's kind of rotating in the air. You throw it, and it's like a spear, and it just disappears into the darkness in the sky.
Somewhere in the
Probably-
distance, we just hear ah.
Or you just hear a
All right.
squeak of a
Thud.
beagle.
Oh,
Oh, it gets the beagle.
oh no!
You just hear, oh.
Oh.
But as you are all beginning to make your way into this castle, I will freeze there and move over to Brandon. At this point, Brandon, you can mark off 2 more hunger. As Amara is not looking good at all right now. And you notice Tom come back into the room, and he will look at you. There you are. You're feeling better? And he'll just tap you on the side of the cheek. Ah, I need you nice and fresh. All right, good boy, good boy. And he will lean down to the woman. I'm so sorry for this. Honestly, it's very out of my hands. It's required, you see, my dear. At this point, Amara is partially conscious right now, and she just mutters to herself under her breath, "Fuck you." Well, there's no need for that. And he will move closer to you, Brandon, and he will take out a knife. And he will begin to kind of lay it onto your skin, about to make a cut, as the other wounds that he did on you have healed. He'll begin to try and slit into your skin. But at that point, across the room, you hear chains becoming tightened and sounds of almost growling hunger that you've heard before, as you see across the room a newly born
Jesus fucking
kindred,
Christ.
pale, the eyes red with blood, anger, and you can see that she is in a frenzy, a hunger frenzy, as she just begins to tighten on the chains and tries to get loose, and he will jump back. Oh, you're awake, my dear. Well, that is good to see, a good sign indeed. And he will turn to you. Well, congratulations, mister. You have become a father, it would seem.
Is there any type of like mental connection between Chowder and Sire?
Not that you can feel right now. And he will go over to her and take out what looks to be a cooler and pull out what looks to be a few bags of blood and just drops 2 of them next to her, and she rips into the plastic, pouring some of the blood mostly over her face, but just begins to drink and drink. A few moments later, you hear chains becoming tightened again, and more growling noises. As you
Yes.
see,
The other fucking one.
the man who you know as Peter snaps alive and begin to fight against the chains, growling like an animal, trying to get to the blood that she is drinking. He will quickly take out another bag of blood and throw it to him, and he will just begin to rip into it. Meanwhile, Brandon, what are you thinking as you have been able to retake over some of your mental abilities, as you are now seeing 2 of your childer tearing into bags of blood?
I'm thinking about, if I must be a sire, then how disdainful it is that my Chowder should be drinking bag blood.
And you do notice that even though they're drinking this blood, it doesn't look like they're enjoying it very well. And you probably connect in the back of your mind. At least one of them, this one, is probably definitely a Ventru, but you notice that the male seems to be drinking the blood without any real issue. Like, he looks like he is fully enjoying this bagged, processed blood.
I'm going to say he'll go to the camera. Like, in my head, I'm thinking he'll go to the Camarilla for adoption.
And as they begin to feast upon this blood, this man, you see him look to the right and look a little bit worried, and you manage to just see in the corner of your eye what looks to be a radio that flashes 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. And he looks concerned. A flash of fear and anger. And he will pull out from behind him a stake. He'll take a deep breath. All right, then. Well, that's unfortunate. And he will walk over to you. You may have company.
Can I burn a willpower, like take an aggravated willpower to try to scream at the top of my lungs, like as boomingly as I can?
Just so I know, when you roused and we had that night, did you take back willpower?
I took willpower, but I've never recovered. You've never told me that I was able to recover my one aggravated.
Let me check. You're at 1 aggravated. So
Yeah.
you can take back 2 willpower, you just can't take back the X.
I thought you said that I couldn't take willpower. I don't think you could take willpower while you're staked, can you?
No, I think that's fine. Just that you can't go over your X. Where the X is, where your willpower is.
Okay. In that case, then yeah, I'll spend one of the 2 to scream at the top of my lungs, or as loud as I can struggle.
Okay. You do so, and you're
Actually, I just want to, instead of regular screaming, I just want to scream "kill" at the top of my lungs.
Okay. As you do, it kind of echoes through this chamber. And it seems to echo out and out and out. A few moments pass, a few minutes, and nothing seems to happen. No people show up. And he will just look at you and just look, actually, like in amazement. How the bloody hell are you able to do that? And he will push in the stake even further. That's incredible. Did you see that? Did you all see that? And he definitely sees you as some type of lab rat right now. And at that point, we will move back to the other group. A bit of time later, in the future, as you're all arriving and making your way into the castle. Before we end tonight's session, if you wish, could you all make a dexterity stealth? if you want to be stealth, that is.
I think sneaking around is probably good. I will rouse.
Okay. We've got D, we've got Tommy's, we've got Todd, and Nathaniel. Okay. At a quite a good stealth roll for the group there, you begin to make your way into this castle without making any noise, and by the front door is actually locked, but with Jessica you're able to kind of just break it. It isn't much, especially an old lock, a medieval lock that doesn't take much to break. You can just swing open the door and begin to make your way inside this castle. Very litly dim, and you can't help but see a bunch of lights all arranged in what looks to be like a parade going down into another room, a grand hall where you see tapestries, where you see large medieval suits of armor and weapons showcased on the walls. And you notice what looks to be a kind of a crypt of what would be a noble, with the statue made on top of the sarcophagus. But it looks like the sarcophagus has been moved to one side, and beneath it looks to be a secret set of stairs heading down. And that is where we will end tonight.